Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is G, and welcome to Monday Night Madness. Yeah, well, bloody hell, this is probably as late as I've been, but yeah, had a few little issues that I was dealing with, had to deal with dogs, and deciding to want to go to the toilet just before I was about to go live. So yeah, you know, what do they say? Never work with animals or whatever. Even though I'm a bit of an animal myself, one of my favourite Muppets used to be the animal because he was an animal. But yeah, hello and welcome and hello. That fan is keeps them sounding like it's stopping and starting. But anyway, but yeah, let me know if you can see me, hear me, and I'll let you know if I can see and hear you. But let's go through the chat. We have Stylesy with his lovely new photo and his little sort of bit of a glow up and a change up of his name and look, which is awesome. Welcome and hello. Happy that you're here. We have Roger the Royal Pirate, the Royal Prawn, the King of the Ocean himself. Aquaman doesn't have shit on him, as they say. And then we got Old Bum beat me again. So some old bum beat AJ again. Hopefully you recovering and wasn't beaten too much. The old alphabet man himself. We have Cody, the Aussie Alistair Fambroni, and I can even say that now without having to look at his name. We have the king of the bronies himself galloping in, and yeah, hellos and hurrahs, and beat me to it this time. Hellos and highs, and Amma, Amma, geez, late again. Yeah, I am. I'm definitely a bit late this time. I was gonna say that I'll be late in the chat, and for some reason the chat didn't come up right away in the StreamYard. But anyway, let's get this all underway. Sipping tea like Kermit the Frog. A little bit of Yorkshire tea, proper brew. Oh man, needed that. Needed to sip that tea like Kermit right about there. Wonder how Miss Piggy is. Hopefully Kermit can give my hellos and how are yous. Naughty boy G. Nah, nah, we all know that I'm a lovely little chap here. I'm not naughty at all. Yeah, that's it. All of a sudden it's gone to my head, my YouTube partner, and now I'm just, not given an FUCK. Hello, hello, good days, and all the rest of it. They're all having their little chats and about their peeps and poops. You gotta go out for your peeps and poops. That'll be good for Jesse. I must admit, the intro music is very relaxing. I'm glad I was able to set the mood after taking about 8 minutes or 6 minutes or whatever it was to get in. Well, we have Styles E to give me the update that I needed. 7:35 and G still wasn't ready. That's it. I did say when I started doing these streams that there isn't necessarily a schedule. I put the schedule on so people know that I'm going to go live. But, I don't like, I need to stay on screen for 1 hour. If no one gets up on panel, I'm going to go after an hour and eat the chip and all that. We're waiting for King G. Hmm. I was 36, yeah, so I was 6 minutes late when I said sorry about that, and then I had to go and put the little silly intro on and start the stream and sit there and twiddle my fingers. Ah, no, no, no. 'Cause, I'm being a good boy tonight. I'm having salad and had a shake for lunch and had a tea. Actually, tell a lie, I didn't really have lunch, or I had sort of brunch. Didn't have breakfast, didn't have lunch, but had brunch. Had a little some in between. Um, no worries, G. Finish your tug in the bathroom. Yeah, Yeah, I wish it was that simple, eh? Back when you was a lad, and stuff like that was so simple. Hey Cody, do you live near Larimar? Larimar? Larry Man? Les the Shoot Larry or Larry the Larrikin? Nice relaxing music. Nope, I'm further south. Just watched the Netflix doco. What one was that, AJ? Was the doco called You Live Near Larimar? But yeah, let us know in the chat. Let us know what doco that was. I do like a good doco actually. Uh, the last one I watched was one that Mark suggested. I don't know if it was called Close Encounter, but it was quite fun, quite interesting. I enjoyed it. Roger says we're on the rectangle desk of G. All clear. Appreciate that there, Roger. And I see some other people in the chat. Don't worry, I'm getting there. I'm just always half an hour late. Late? Late? The Muppet Beaker, the scientist, really freaked me out as a kid. Don't know why. He made me cry. Yeah, that's fair enough. I didn't really like Harry and the Hendersons. I used to have nightmares over the Bigfoot. I used to watch the show, sit there and watch it. I was a bit of a strange kid. Not much has changed as I've got older. But I used to like torturing myself and watch stuff that I didn't like. I mean, back in the day as well, there was a few TVs in the house, but most of the time everyone gathered around, one TV and just watched the same shows. And if you have siblings, you sometimes had to watch the stuff that they were allowed to watch or wanted to watch. Anyway, yeah, Beaker is a strange Muppet, but I can't say he scared me. There was a few more, a little bit more scary Muppets in there than Beaker. Where's the pizza, Paul? Promised pizza. But anyway, hello, Chriso, welcome, and I appreciate you being here. And also, Caitlin, hello and welcome. Welcome to the madness on the Monday night. Lucky me, lucky you, I had to be fasting. Well, yeah, I can't say I really. I had a shake, and I'm not talking about what Paul mentioned. And I didn't eat my dinner because I'm here, and I was running late. I might have had a little cheeky sausage. All these shakes and sausage talk. It's it's obviously making Paul's eyes wide shut. Might have had a bit of a sausage and bread before I jumped on. So that's that 6 minutes letting the dog out to go whizzles and pizzles, my nizzles, and yeah, putting my mouth around the sausage and bread. Oh, brunch, fancy, moving up in the world already. Well, yeah, as I said, I missed breakfast. I was a little bit late to the game tonight or today or morning, whenever breakfast is. I don't know, sometime in the day, isn't it? It breaks fast. You break that fast that you had while you was getting your slumber on. But yeah, then I just, to be honest, was feeling a little bit crappy around sort of lunch. So I just escaped the world into the Matrix for a little while. And yeah, so I didn't eat, but the cup of tea is keeping me going. Mm. We all conquered YouTube when G is the captain. Well, you are the pirate legend, so I learnt the best from you. The Laramare, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I never say shit right though, do I? Laramar, I'm guessing. Good old Ma. Hey Ma, remember that corn ad? Don't know if you remember McCain's. It was like this little kid eating corn. But yeah, anyway, I went to school with that kid. I'm sure that the advert was across all of Australia and not just South Australia. But yeah, it was a bit of a twat to be honest. But it's like, oh Ma, the rain is here or some shit. And he chews on a bit of corn. was about town of 11 people and one goes missing. Just a bunch of great Aussie characters. Very quick doco. Oh, you'll have to remind me that at a later stage. It sounds like worth a bit of a look. Yeah, I never eat brunch, but I just missed breakfast, so had a basically it was a late breakfast and didn't have lunch. Yeah, that's the trials and tribulations of Funkin' Hungry and his food eating habits. Hello and all. Good day, there, Mark. Shed Talk. He's been one of the lurkers tonight, but yeah, appreciate you lurking anyway. Hello, lurker. Yeah, hello, lurker, and all the other lurkers. You know, all the people we've had to ban who are probably still watching. You know, the old grandma gang, the gang of grandmas, and all the rest of it. That's what I thought as well. I don't know if he promised pizza, but it did intrigue me for sure. It made me wonder where the pizza is and where the promise was, the promised land. Hey there, King Mark, and the mighty Caitlin is in the house. Just was just watching Grego on his Fiat night. Basically, I guess that means live stream. I saw the old Grego was on live stream before. I don't know if he's still going, but shout out to Grego, aka Greg's Kitchen, aka Greg the Gardener, aka Greg, aka aka. Hello, Roger, and hello, Cody. And nothing wrong with a sausage in your mouth. Yeah, it was quite a nice sausage as well. It had a bit of juiciness to it. Yeah, it was a little bit spicy, as they can be sometimes, these sausages. It was an okay size, you know, nothing to brag about, but it definitely hit the spot. Put it in a bit of bread and butter, you know, the old butter. You come here. What have you got in your mouth? You twat. Run lie down. You're just going to stand there and look. Going to stand there and look at me and tilt his head like, what? What do you want? What do you want? Ah, we only had dinner well, probably a couple of hours ago now. Because I'm so professional, I'm just gonna disappear and give this dog a treat because otherwise you're trying to sing for the people. Might leave the microphone on so you might be able to hear him sing the song. Hopefully I don't get copyrighted for this song that he's gonna sing. I'm licking your lip. You know you put a piece of rawhide down there, you need other stuff, don't you? You live in the life. Really handed to you. I used to do YouTube, so oh, made me late to the stream because I needed my sausage and him to go to the toilet, and now he needs more food apparently. And there you go. And I'm back, and I don't have my light on because it's hot here, so I look like the ghost of Christmas past. But anyway, hopefully people can put up with it. It's probably a little bit wrong way. Now I was poking my hand as I'm trying to do this bloody these ring lights. That's what they're called. And he's poking my hand because apparently those snacks weren't enough. What a twat! Yeah, you. No, you can't eat the whole bag. You can't eat the whole bag, fat whack. Now who's being dirty? Not me. Oh, I was just talking about having a lovely sausage in my mouth. It was enjoyable. Gregor is still alive at the moment. Ah, maybe we should somehow cross the streams like Ghostbusters. Danny doesn't like corn. Oh yeah, him and his story, eh? Him and his story about corn. I remember that McCain ad. I don't think McCain even make frozen corn anymore. Yeah, so one of the little kids, he was a little kid at the time. He's obviously around my age, so basically he's a grandpa now. Yeah, and he put his mouth around a bit of corn, and it was squirting like he had a lovely night with a lovely lady. On fire, bro. Bit pissed. That's it. I'm on fire. See, I've got the action pose, me running away from the explosion. So I'd be on fire as well if I didn't run away from this background. Well, King Stylesy once sang super straight. No. I tried those non-shim kimchi noodles today. They were good. The noodle cake itself was good quality. Yeah, I actually had some noodles. See, I did. I'm cheating. Technically did have breakfast. See, the lies are coming out, so all the lurkers can write it down. But because I woke up super early, like 7 in the morning, I guess it was breakfast. I had this Nissan garlic noodles, and yeah, they were pretty damn crap, to be honest. I was going to review. I did have them to review, but I'm just like, they were pretty much out of date or whatever. So I just had them, and they were just. But yeah, good quality noodle cakes is awesome. The Sam Yang brand has really good quality. Non Shim's pretty good, but I found like Megarang's okay for like the thinner noodles, but yeah, I reckon Sam Yang are some of the best noodles for instant noodles. Like really big, they have a bit of a chew to them if you cook them right, and just yeah, nice big noodle. Yeah, everyone's finding out my secrets today. Wonderful song, G. Yeah, he's still kind of singing it. You can't have more, hairy nose. Go lie down. Stop saying snacks. You're triggering my dog. Shout out to the old Jazz and her snacks. Hopefully she gets a lovely snack tonight. Sorry for saying snack too much. I'll say it one more time. Snack. Snacks. It was technically twice, but it was a slightly different variation. These were plump and bouncy. I do like myself a plump and bouncy individual. I do like putting my noodles in a plump and bouncy. AJ is on fire tonight. Yeah, everyone's on fire. What is going on? It must be because it's summer now. Yeah, that's it. Now I'm going to struggle to get to the hour. Might have to get some spicy chips out. Oh, cheers, G. You remembered her name. I say hi back. Hello. Oh man, well, he's decided now to knock a bunch of stuff here. Oh, crap. I might fall off the chair. Come on, that's yours. No more. No more. I'm not going to say the S word. I'm not going to say the B word because he gets triggered with the Aussie UK European way of saying cookie, if you know what I'm saying. He gets triggered by that. Well, that took like 10 minutes for him to huff and puff and finally lay down and stare at oh, I went that again. Stare at the dog chews that are over there. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, welcome to Monday Night Madness. We're about 20 minutes in. We should have been about 30 minutes in, but yeah, that's how it is. You know, letting this YouTube partner program get to my head, go to my head. Yeah, let's talk about that for a minute. So I have now. Oh, we'll get rid of AJ's and bouncy. We all like a good plump and bouncy around here. But yeah, if anyone's interested, I do have YouTube members activated now. Have a few different tiers, and hopefully, I have committed to do basically. I kind of started a lot of this before I did technically become a YouTube partner, but I did kind of have it worked out in my head that if you, I mean, some people are already a part of this, some people that are regulars, you know, I wanted them to be a part of this anyway because they're like, you know, everyone knows who they are, people that are regular and support the channel and always here really to help and support. But I'm gonna Monday Night Madness, man. I don't know, it's Monday night. But yeah, apparently I have a stalker now who I used to know, and for some reason he won't leave me alone now. But yeah, I guess you get that for some reason. You know, people can't seem to leave me alone. Anyway, I've got the members and the different levels. You get a few different. Where's the super chat though? Ah, it is there. It's the little money symbol on the this side. So you got the emote down near where it says chat on the right hand side. You've got emojis, and you have the money symbol. And also, I do have a few emojis that I might throw up just for people to see. So yeah, uh, oh yeah, I can see it. So yeah, so if you become a member, you get to use these emojis as well, which I thought they was animated, these emojis. I did put animated ones, but for some reason they're not moving, which kind of takes away a little bit of the humor. And ha ha ha, stalker. Well, yeah, what the hell are you doing here anyway? But yeah, as long as you hit the like button and become a member, then I guess you can stay. Like always, have no idea what he's on about. It must be what people do. Anyway, the emojis were animated, so it takes away a little bit of the humor out of it. But I guess on YouTube, maybe they don't let you have animated emojis. But I do have, and yeah, this is for members. It's just like a little perk. Oh, you're a legend, Stylesy. Absolute legend. Thank you, man. You're the first person to do the super chat. So yeah, a legend, and I appreciate it. But yeah, for some reason I did have another couple of emojis. But yeah, we have considering it's Monday Night Madness, we have the Infinity Gauntlet. Eat a pie, please. Oh, no, you haven't been on the channel obviously long enough. It's eat the chip around here. That's what we say around on Funkin' Hungry. Eat the fucking chip. So we have the Infinity Gauntlet. You know, if for people who knows, they knows. You know, I like to collect YouTubers in my Infinity Gauntlet after they uh, just seeing what, just having a quick look at all these. But yeah, so we have the Infinity Gauntlet as well. We have. I just put this really because it was funny and it was meant to be animated. So I wanted to see that in the chat, but I might change it now. It's not animated, but it's still a laugh. It's the good old eggplant emoji. And the last one, I did have other ones, but for some reason they don't seem to have been accepted, or if they accept the eggplant emoji, that which I called wanker. So if you're a member and you write wanker, it should come up. Describe Doritos for me. Anyway, we got the cat next door as well, the neighbor's cat. We got a neighbor's cat emoji with his little knife and fork ready to eat. Again, all of these were meant to be animated. The Infinity Gauntlet did snap its finger, but yeah, as I said, YouTube obviously doesn't allow it, which is a little bit sad. But anyway, thank you again, Stylesy. You're a legend. And yeah, so basically the members as well. I've created a Discord where we're going to have hangouts. So I am giving members or anyone interested basically live streams or live chats outside of YouTube, well, they won't be technically live on the YouTube channel, but basically, I'm offering to have chats and stuff outside of YouTube, which we have done one. We had a couple of people, but we had a couple of people, yeah, already in one of those Friday. We've basically slotted that into a Friday because I do the Saturday live streams. So probably every fortnight, I'll speak to the guys and see what they say. If people are available and I'm not doing anything, I can do them kind of weekly. And obviously, if I'm busy or other people are busy, they can they don't have to be there. Like, there was a couple, like there was a few of us, but yeah, a couple of people had issues with getting into it, but we'll sort all of that out. If we don't want to do it on Discord, I can do it in Restream. I can host events or chats in Restream. I just won't go live on YouTube, but we can all be in here and just chat, watch movies, snacks, and just basically I'm calling that as well uncut with G because it'll be a little bit more uncut because YouTube has obviously rules and regulations you need to abide by. You can't play music. Obviously, you're not going to be able to play movies and stuff like that because of copyright issues. But in Discord, or if I move it on to Restream, it's just going to be in the Restream program. And yeah, we can kind of do what we want, so it's uncut with G. It's a little bit more. I mean, Monday Night Madness, and then we do have Up Late with G. They do get pretty, rowdy or whatever. So yeah. And I'll say to anyone, if Jared gets a bit too out of hand, you can feel free to give him a time out if you need. I don't mind people being here, and really, there has been a lot of issues with him and myself over the years. I have known him for a while, but to be honest, yeah, he just popped up back in this last week or whatever for some reason. Tried to pop back in my life. I don't know why. But yeah, as long as I guess he behaves. Why are you looking like a Star Wars apparition right now? Because that's what I look like. Obviously, I haven't been here long, but yeah, it's just the background. Restream, I think their green stream isn't quite as good as I used to use StreamYard, the program, and I feel like Restreams. It's because it's not as high definition as StreamYard, but StreamYard basically costs more, and I'm using this now. Yeah, I don't know. This might be a little bit better, but yeah, it's still going to be blurry anyway. You're a legend, AJ, as if you did that. I appreciate it, man. What the hell? Don't be doing that crazy stuff. Keep your money. But yeah, cheers, bro. You're a legend. Both of the boys that did that today, I really appreciate it. And this, I'm just getting used to it. Oh, what the hell? Someone became a member as well. Who the hell is Dr. Zeus? That's a great picture that you've got, Dr. Zeus. What the hell? That's brilliant. Dr. Zeus has, because of this, I probably will get rid of the background, but I've moved some of my stuff around, so the room's a little bit messy and shit at the moment. Yeah, Dr. Zeus has a alien, naked alien with a beer and what is that? Like a, I don't know, a couple of beers or whatever. But yeah, if you want to tell us who you are, Dr. Zeus, you can. If you want to remain anonymous, that's cool. But Dr. Zeus became a member, and the member that he's a part of, is Appetizer. So he joins the members and is an appetizer, part of the Appetizer member members, my members. I reckon I'll turn on the light because people actually paying for content now. I'll be back. I'll turn on the light so I don't look like Casper the Friendly Ghost, even though it's not going to probably improve that much because I need to sort out my webcam. I need to get that looked at or buy a new one. Anyway, so that's a little bit better or clearer. Um, I will might do this. See if this looks any better. See now you can see the white dog moving around. You can see all the bullshit behind me and the rest of it. But yeah. Anyway, are the member prices tiers paid once a month? Yeah, the member prices are every 4 weeks. If you use oh, what are you doing, you twat? Get out of there. He's quiet all day. It's probably because he's been sleeping a lot today, so all of a sudden he wants to do a little prick. But come on, out, out, out. Knock into the carton that's there. Oh, this is probably the most unprofessional stream I've ever done, funny enough, and it's like the first one since I've been paid YouTuber. Come on. So if I take away Styles's thing, you can see Soul lurking around in the background there. No, you do realise that there's people here watching and talking. Yeah, just because you look very lovely with your big brown eyes and your big black nose and your huffing and puffings. No, no more. Come on there. But yeah, I am going to experiment with my setup a little bit, which I kind of am currently doing in the background. But yeah, more of that as we go on. At the end of the day, I guess you're not here to see the background. I did buy new headphones today, which are basically just an upgraded version of what I got. I was going to get like a different brand or even more expensive ones, but I kind of like these Sony ones. Like they cup around your ear, but you know how some headsets they really have like almost a suction around your ear, where if you wear them too long, it just like feels like like you've been scuba diving or something. So yeah, I kind of like these more low profile ones. So I just got one of them. Hopefully, I mean they probably won't sound that better audio wise because they're not like hundreds of dollars. But yeah, sorry Dexter, hello. I did see you before, but all the stuff with the dog and whatnot. Hey Dexter, how are you, man? Hopefully you're well. But yeah, to answer a Paul or to finish what I was saying, yeah, every 4 weeks the members the members comes out, and yeah, there's one that's just like about $5 all the way up to about $20 to $30. But if you do the $20 and $30 one, you do get with that money. I will take it, and I mean all of this money will go back into the channel. But for the highest one, which is so appetizer, entree, and main course, is what I did. And if you do become a member of main course, you can choose a challenge or a review to do. So if you just, when it comes to challenges, I mean, it's up to the person kind of what they want to do. Obviously, I need to be able to find the food. So it can be a gross food, it can be a spicy challenge, it could just be me stuffing my bloody face with a Whopper, like I've seen my good old mate who was I've seen that he's been doing some videos with like lots of patties, but he just has a bit of a nibble like a bird, like a pigeon. But I'll actually smash that down for you. Like how people have seen me do with the pizza and the hot sauce. I mean, as I say, I'm pretty much up for most stuff, really. But yeah, yeah, exactly. Help me, Obi-Wan, you're my only hope. I do love that quote. He is rich now. uh, yeah, I don't know all about that. Yeah, all of a sudden I'm buying new headphones. What am I? I'm late to streams. What the hell have I become? You're a legend, AJ. You know how much I respect and appreciate you. Your value is more, man. So yeah, yeah. Well, basically, I've got a Logitech HD. It's a pretty good one. I did do research. It's up on my computer, but it just started screwing up the sound every time I plug it in. The sound just disappears. So the sound down in the laptop, it just turns off, and then like if I put on YouTube or whatever, and also it just disables the camera. So I didn't know if it was StreamYard somehow, like using the camera's like properties or using it, so it was disrupting it, like it was screwing it up elsewhere. It was taking the camera and it was on in there. But yeah, I did get it to work sometimes. I had to reinstall, fiddle around, mess around with the drivers. And then I had someone else who came into my PC and tried to fix it, and they did fix it as well. And then the next day when I restarted the computer and stuff, it just went back to it. So yeah, it's okay. Like now, so the pre-installed webcam, see, it's okay, but I have to have ring lights on, or I did have to have this on with the Logitech because a lot of cameras or webcams, unless they're really good, very expensive, they they need really good lighting to use because in like low light they don't function properly. But yeah, now I've turned on the ceiling light and I have my two ring lights on, and I can even slightly face them more a little bit more slightly to me, which didn't do too much, but it just makes my forehead shiny. But yeah, you're right. The camera but I did still find that StreamYard did used to have better quality when it came to the green screen. Didn't really have much fuzziness. Sometimes it used to blur out the headphones a little bit, but that was about it. You know, but yeah. Welcome, Doctor Zeus. And I say that, and then all of a sudden it just starts blurring. But yeah, Doctor Zeus, I appreciate it. Whoever you are, maybe you'll let me know at a later stage who you are. Who knows? But either way, I appreciate you being the first member. And Dr. Zeus, you do have a few custom emojis down. If you press the emoji, I don't know if you're using a phone or laptop or whatever, if you go down to the emoji symbol, there are some funkin' hungry emojis, which I will. The more members I get, the more emojis I can add to that. But I will sort of change them every now and again. But as I explained before, we have the Infinity Gauntlet, we have the eggplant emoji, and we do have our friend who is the neighbor's cat. I am usually Dogface, and I know Mark Shed Talk. I know you from SOR. I'm Simon. What the hell's SOR? The only Simon that comes to my mind is someone that does YouTube. Is that who you are? Either way, very much appreciate all the people for the support tonight. I didn't expect it, and yeah, I really appreciate it though. It's all good, guys. You don't have to tease Jared. As I said, there's some history and stuff there, but if he wants to be here, he can. As I said, just like anyone, if you mods wanna, you don't have to ban people. You can put them in timeout if they get a little bit too rowdy. But I do like rowdy here. But you can kind of decide. I can unban people if someone does decide to ban. If I don't feel that it's justified, I can go and unban people. And obviously, I had to do that on the weekend. Cody and Roger know what I mean. But yeah, cheers for that, Simon. Sol wants to be a YouTube partner as well. Yeah, I'm sure he'll get a few extra Well, he's finally on his bed sleeping. I'm sure he'll get a few little treats, extra, uh, because of you guys, which he will appreciate. We all in the round table of G. Awesome stream at the moment. I'm off, fellas. Okay. Cheers, Simon. You're a legend, and you're the first member. You're the member of the Funkin' Hungry family. Yeah, we'll see you soon. Cheers there, Dr. Zeus. Dr. Zeus is Simon G. Yeah, yeah. He did. Oh, Spaced Out Radio, Dave Scott. I'll have to have a bit of a chat with you about that after Mark or Simon at some stage. But yeah, that's cool. That's very awesome. Dog face. And I know Mark Shed talk. Ah, it all makes sense now. It all makes sense. Cheers for that, Simon. And cheers for that, Mark, for pointing that out to me. We have the sloth in the house hanging upside down. This emoji doesn't work, but AJ did the old goat turquoise white horns. I can see it on my phone down here, but Restream doesn't for some reason allow some of those like different emojis. Yeah, the old Dr. Zeus is in the house. Oh, well, if this is you being delightful, I wouldn't like you to see you, you know, acting normal, if you want to call it that, or not delightful. And Mark Shed Talk will be on soon. But yeah, there you go, everyone. So I was trying to explain super chats and members, and all of a sudden, people become it. So yeah, absolutely legends, all of you. And will be using all that cash and stuff to do reviews. If Paul or AJ and even Simon, if any of you want to see particular content, I'm happy to cater to you. Or if you just want to see me do my normal crazy random stuff, then yeah, I will. I do have a few. I think Jared is the one to the kiss. Oh, he has his whole life. He's been blowing smoke up my ass his whole life. I don't want to know what it's like though. People can't leave you alone. Even haters. I'm not saying he's a hater, but just learning a lot of the haters still need to work around. But I do have a few of these that I don't know. I wouldn't say I've been putting it off, but they do have they have a best before. This one's 29. This one will be the first one. I believe it's got the lowest date. So it's basically 29 for the 11th and it's 2024. But I have done these on the channel before, and it's the most disgusting food item that I've done on Funkin' Hungry so far. Is Van Holten's. The one I did was Big Papa's pickle. Everyone likes to have a big pickle in their mouth. This is our sour sis. So yeah, if you guys want me to do this soon, I will try and do this maybe before the end of the year if you want me to. So obviously it's meant to be sour. The last one tasted like bloody pool cleaner, like it tasted like just chemicals. So yeah, I've already done that on the channel, and I'll do a bit of. I've got sour sis, hot mama, which is a spicy one. I do have a Warheads, the Warhead brand. I do have a, so that's another sour one, and I believe I have a garlic Joe's, sort of garlic one. No, Jared is a bloke. Roger. I actually went to school with him. You just keep on doing what you do, G. Appreciate that, AJ. Only joking, Jared. Mummy didn't give you enough love and attention. I'm off to the gym and shit. Oh, well, if you guess if you're funkin' hungry, you need to go to the old poopy poos after, don't you? That's normally what happens when you consume calories. Oh, yes, I've watched your pickle video. Most viewed video on your channel, I believe. Yeah, it's creeping up to about 5K views, which is it's been doing well, but it's taken a while to get to where it is. So yeah, I mean, if any of the mods want to chuck up the link for it, if not, you just go into when you type in Van Holten's Big Papa Pickle, Funkin' Hungry. Oh, see, this is some of the comedy that's going to come from this is just gonna it's almost like just the it's a sour sis and it's tart and tangy. It's a tart and tangy pickle. So yeah, this is the jokes are going to make itself. The last one I was saying it's like something that Hulk would eat. I was saying oh it's probably grown in Chernobyl and stuff. Hey, how are you, Dave? Welcome to the stream. We've This Monday Night Madness has been a little bit mad already. Ah, Dave, you're a legend. So um that's uh that's the pickle one. So it's the most disgusting food that I've ate on this channel so far. And it's only a pickle at the end of the day. Like I'm on a pickle group on Facebook, and some people like put roll-ups around pickles. They put them like and then put nerds in it. Here's some more madness for you all. Appreciate that, Dave. Um, but yeah, like on the pickle page, some people say that oh, this is my favorite pickle. I love these pickles, but the majority of people do say they don't like these. But hey, the last one was just a dill pickle, so it's meant to be dill flavored. But I do like dill in food, and I do like dill pickles. I do like more sour pickles, so this one possibly could be good, but how sour are we talking? We do know our American brothers and sisters do like that artificial, chemically, driven food. But yeah, this is a bloody big pickle, though. This is a big, girthy, tart and tangy pickle. And I didn't put it in the fridge last time. It wasn't hot, like it wasn't very hot when I did it, so I didn't feel the need. But I might throw it in the fridge because even pickles from the store sometimes, like they don't taste that nice just out of the container when it's just sort of sitting in storage. It's a trailer for a movie called Bad CGI Gator. Yeah, that's like what I was doing before when I had the green screen on. Some more than other King Cody. We're all mad here. Yeah, I love that. We are all mad here. I bet that tickled Dave's fancy. The Savadu, what was it? Savadu, Savadu. Good old good old Sadabu's in the house. Ah, brilliant. Oh, for more than other King, Cody. Yeah, this stream's been going off so far, and we haven't even sort of into anything yet. I think like it's due before the end of the year. I did put it on my community tab on YouTube, but I feel like I want to try and get a few. Like this isn't really a challenge, so maybe I might do a spicy challenge if I can find something spicy to do before the end of the year. But I feel like before the end of the year, off like a frog in a sock. Yeah, that's it. Bouncing around like like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. And I don't know if you saw Soul. move to a different location in the background there. But yeah, before the end of the year, I've got like just under 4 weeks. I want to bring out obviously content, but I want to try and do a few. I have these different series that I've kind of started on the channel. I want to try and this isn't a series, but it's a video that seems to do have done very well. So I reckon I'll do that because I'm not necessarily looking forward to it, but I'm looking forward to bringing out some funny. I mean, I might put my mouth around it and like the sour sis pickle. I do like a good tart. I do like a tangy tart. Everyone loves a tangy tart. So yeah, that'll be happening. As I said, I wouldn't mind doing another challenge. I've done a lot of spicy ones, so I might see if I can do a spicy challenge. What other series did I start? I reckon I have to smash out another local place that does hamburger with a lot because I kind of done a Aussie Aussie burger series slash hamburger with a lot because depending on where you go, they're kind of almost the same thing. I know a hamburger with a lot tends to be just with the salad and bacon and egg, and then obviously the Aussie burger tends to have the beetroot and the pineapple. But depending on where you go, sometimes the hamburger with a lot will have beetroot. Some places will have pineapple. It just depends really. But I reckon I'll smash out another one of them before I wrap up this year because that was quite a series I enjoyed doing. I love supporting local places. I do like me a hamburger with a lot. That's fairly good value for what you get. What else? That's another one. I haven't done that many. Excuse me for a moment while I move this anime. Oh, excuse me for that. For some reason, when he's acting like a twat, he just tries to climb in places that he can't really get to. So I've moved behind me. You can't really see into some of the storage containers I have, and there he is trying to get to them for some reason or get behind there. Anyway, I haven't done that many Funkin' Hungry crazy creations from the old Dr. Funkenstein. I haven't entered the lab for a while and came up with a crazy creation. Now, a lot of times so far, I've really only done them from like Macca's, Jackers, and Clackers. So I reckon the last might have been a Jackers. It was a little bit of a fail, like some of them are, because you have to rely on the restaurant giving you what you want. But I did those Jack's fried chicken burgers and did like a double where I did like almost a Big Mac style with 2 bits of the fried chicken. But yeah, for anyone watching, I guess I can I did share it in the community tab on YouTube. But I'm probably going to do a McRib because McRib seems to be because it's not around all the time. Even in America, it's out like every year or every 2 years, so people get quite excited when it comes back. So I feel like that content does quite well. So I reckon I'll do a funkin' hungry, crazy creation McRib. So maybe good on you there, Styles. The Mc. I'll see if I can play that and see. I'll point out the kid if it's the right one. I will point out the kid that I used to go to school with. But let me know in the chat how many McRib patties I should put on the funkin' hungry, crazy creation. Should I make it two? I don't. I want to go crazy, but also I want to, not be in hospital. So maybe that might be the. But yeah, let me know if you just want a single, a double, triple, or maybe five. There you go. Well, I do have a little bit of more cash now, thanks to everyone to play around with. As many as G can handle. Well, to be honest, I could probably go a good 10. 4 patties. So if AJ wants to do 5 styles eat 4. Like I can eat pretty crazy, but I am trying to because I am trying to I don't know. and trying to do a triple deluxe with an extra slice of tomato. Yeah, that's a good idea as well. I definitely was going to do an extra slice of tomato if I did do that because bloody one slice of tomato when the sandwich or burger's about that big and you have one slice of tomato in the middle and like that's why when I did the review, I was eating it and then I turned it to the side and like ate it from the side because that's where the tomato was in the center. May even actually be able to taste the pork. Yeah, it doesn't have a huge pork flavor, but at the end of the day, it does HJ's or Macca's, or sorry, I should say Macca's and Jackers. Does any of their meat have much flavor to it? Like even I don't mind the fried chicken from Jackers, but even that is a little bit bland. Like there's if I was doing it at home, I would just season the stuff, so you can taste at least some salt and pepper. But yeah, it is a little bit bland, but then that's what the sauce is for. But yeah, you do have a point. So Dave saying I had a McCrispy Deluxe last night and it was actually pretty good, much better than a chicken Big Mac. Yeah, I do actually have the chicken Big Mac coming out this week. I won't give you any spoilers, but yeah, I do agree with that. I for some reason don't mind the McChicken. It's so small now, but I do like the flavor of the McChicken. It's got some nice herbs and spices in that coating that for some reason just make it fairly unique. So I do like the McChicken. I love the McChicken sauce. So if the McChicken was a bit bigger and better value, I'd probably smash that down more. But these days, if I'm going to buy Macca's for myself, I'll just go a double quarter because it's actually still tasty. Is one of the still sort of biggest burgers, but I do love the combination from Macca's. So if you go to Jack's, I feel like Jack's food is the salad, like normally onion and pickles, but they're not on the bacon deluxe. But you definitely Jack's flavor is like lettuce, it's tomato, mayonnaise, and then like beef cheese and all that. And then on the Whopper you have a few more ingredients and ketchup. But it seems to have a unique taste to Hungry Jack's, and a lot of their burgers taste like that. But then just going to get the link from here. But then Macca's to me, Macca's really that traditional Macca's flavor is meat, cheese, onions, pickles, and tomato sauce and mustard. To me, that's what Macca's tastes like, and that's what I really go to Macca's for. Like the cheeseburgers are awesome, even though they're so bloody expensive these days. But that's why I just do the double quarter pounder. I feel like for the money and the value and the size, that's probably the best way to go. I don't mind a Big Mac, but they're just a rip-off these days for how small they are. And yeah, one burger I do like when it comes out is I was going to call it Mega Big Mac, but what do they call it? The Grand Big Mac, where there's basically a double quarter pounder, but dressed up like a Big Mac. That goes down a treat. I do like my Big Mac sauce, but you'll see what I mean when I bring out the chicken Big Mac. I have done the chicken Big Mac in the past, and I feel like if you go to my old review and this new review that I'll bring out, I do feel like my taste buds have like changed a little bit. I've done so many good places this year, so many local places, so much good food that I've had that McDonald, like Macca's, Jackers, and Clackers, all of them aren't tasting as good anymore because I have higher standards, even though I didn't rate the McRib quite highly, but I did wait like, a few years to try that again. So it's probably a little bit of, I might have exaggerated a bit because I've been waiting for that item to come back ever since it went away. I'm like, oh man, I could do a McRib. Anyway, sorry, I was talking a bit of cod waffle. Let's get into it. And speaking of getting back into it, we have Spaceman Mark, Rocket Man. Give me the old if you're ready to join. Yep, he's ready to come in here. How are you there, Mark? Welcome.
G'day, G. How you doing? G'day, everyone. I'm doing well. Thank you very much.
Oh, I love that bag. It looks like you're on the gun tonight. You're the gunner.
Yeah,
You know?
hang on, I'll move out the way. This is this is actually the personal quarters. So this is my room in the spaceship.
Well, that looks epic.
Yeah. So we're just obviously we're hovering above a planet, and I'm using really complicated stuff to beam my signal to you.
So the one question though is that planet behind you, is it flat or?
Well, from this perspective, it does look a bit, a bit of a
Yeah,
curvature there, but
depends. I guess we won't get into that too much, but technically, is it flat or a globe? It's more a point of view, right? It depends where you're looking from it. If you
exactly.
zoomed right in, you're gonna
Yep,
see some flat surfaces.
is exactly, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so
Definitely
you,
agree with what. Sorry, you go, Mark.
oh, sorry. Yeah, you've got your first, congrats on your first subscriber, um,
Member, yeah,
member, yeah, and that's Simon. Is that right? He's
yeah, Simon.
Dr. Zeus. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's correct.
On Spaced Out Radio, I know him as Dogface Simon or Dogface Boy. What he put in the
Ah,
chat. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. So he's an Aussie, and when Dave does his roll call before the show, usually he's in there or during the breaks, because the way that they do Spaced Out Radio during the week, or they'll
yeah,
do a
yeah,
half an hour segment, then they'll have a break because his show also goes out to terrestrial radio stations as well as what
yeah.
you see on YouTube. So he's got a oh, excuse me. Dave Scott has a pretty damn good following of Spaced Out Radio, not just on YouTube, but the like I said, like the terrestrial radio stations as he goes to throughout North
Mm.
America.
Yeah, so when I watch it just on YouTube, but I do know, and I kind of like what Dave does. He like he's very good with the radio stuff. So he says to the guest, "Oh, it's this amount of time until the break or whatever,"
Yeah,
and they have a little bit of a break, and then he does sort of that radio. And then when he comes back in, he does that slight little introduction again,
yep,
like what a radio host would do.
yeah,
He just lets everyone know the guests, lets everyone know what part of the show it's up to,
mm,
what section of it, and back into it. It's very well done, and
yeah.
yeah, I
That's
do watch it a bit, and I gave some super chats. I gave a super chat in it last time I watched it with
yeah,
the cryptic guy that was from Australia
yep,
because
yep,
it was a really good show, and you told me about that a long time ago, but I mainly watched it when the ones with Swamp Dweller because you said he was on there,
mm,
and I
mm,
really enjoyed them. But because I actually watched this one live, and it was in Australian time because they had an Australian guest, so they
yeah,
scheduled it, and so it worked with him because he has kids and stuff.
yep,
So it was about late afternoon, but I don't know,
yeah.
anywhere from two to
So
four, sort of.
so so Dave Scott broadcasts his show from central British Columbia, in a place
Yeah.
called 100 Mile House, um, on
So that's
Dogface.
that that's the comment that he
Yeah,
said on
yeah,
Dogface. Yeah,
yeah. Um, and so when he goes live, he goes from 9 o'clock till midnight his time, which is normally 2 o'clock till about, he goes for 3 hours, 2 till 5 our time. But of course, they're in
yeah,
daylight saving now. Are they in daylight saving? Something like that. So they come on at
yeah. Yeah, they
3
would be.
o'clock.
Yeah,
Yeah, so uh, they'll come on at 3 o'clock our time, and go through till 6 o'clock. And he does a good variety. His background, used to be a sports reporter, and he used to be in radio in British Columbia. So that's where he brings his professionalism from. And I've seen Dave in his show really handle some sticky situations really well with some of the guests that have come on there.
yeah,
um, and a few of the guests that have come on there have been, not as entertaining or not as, um, you know, um,
Charismatic or just
well, just yeah, they'll like he'll ask a question and they'll say yes, you know,
yeah, like
uh,
they want someone to elaborate a bit more on,
yeah, yeah. I mean, you
because
can say
to fill in the time slot, you know.
yeah, you can say yes, but you can say yes because of X, Y, Z reason, or this, while I was researching for this document or something, I had this strange event happen, and all that sort of stuff. So,
Or
and
even if you can't answer much, you could say, like it's not a topic that I know much about, or I can't really go into that, and like throw it back to the host so they can try to come back with a different angle or whatever,
yeah, yeah,
just sort of
and
help the situation a bit more.
yeah, and Dave is really good at that that
Oh,
sort of
he's
thing.
excellent.
Yeah,
He's excellent at what he does.
yeah. It was.
Um,
It's sort of disappointing that he doesn't have Swamp Dweller on there anymore. But whatever the arrangement was with him and Swamp Dweller, that obviously didn't work out or whatever. But he now has a guy called I was going to say Steve Austin, but it's not. It's something else. He's on YouTube. He calls himself Among the Missing, very similar to Swamp Dweller, but
okay,
he talks about missing people cases, and
yeah,
he has a YouTube channel called Among the Missing, which I have not watched yet. I just haven't had the time. It sounds interesting, and I'm sure there's other YouTube channels out there looking into missing people. I know my wife has looked at a few, but
yeah.
look, um, congratulations on becoming a paid partner with YouTube, and
Thank
I
you,
hope
Mark.
that you've drawing up the contracts to build your mansion and take over the world
Yeah,
in your empire.
maybe I was wondering maybe a yacht so I can sail. I could go down your neck of the woods and I could, pump my horn and tell you to all aboard and get on the phone. Go off to some other people, go to Western Australia, see Dave, and then drop into, I know that AJ's sort of a little bit close to you, so yeah. Yeah, not quite there yet. But I mean, it just goes to show you don't know who is a part of the channel. Like unless someone has their subs turned on, so will show that they've subbed to my channel. But if they've hidden that feature in their privacy settings, I don't get that. So
Yeah,
obviously
right.
Simon has joined, and obviously he's watched some of probably what we do, and I'm sure he's listened to conversations you and I have had, and
Mm,
I must have enjoyed it, but also just supporting, which is great. I really
yeah.
appreciate that, and it just goes, like sometimes I sort of take the Mickey or whatever a little bit. Oh, there's lurkers or there's people in the background, but some people aren't comfortable always to chat. Sometimes they might be just, this might be background noise to them. They might be cooking or, I don't know, dancing in the background or, who knows what
Well,
people, some people are driving and listen to this sort of stuff. So they're not going to be able to, be on their devices as they're driving, depending on the situation. So yeah, I
well,
appreciate anyone watching and supporting.
when I thought, oh, gee, you must be on, and I clicked on it, and you had just come on, and then
Mm.
I got a message from a guy, a friend down in Melbourne. He's restoring the same steamroller as me. In fact,
Oh,
um,
right, yeah.
when you look at serial numbers, they're only his engine and my engine are only three numbers apart in terms of
That's
serial numbers.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he sent me some photos of the progress he was doing, which is absolutely phenomenal. He's going great guns, and then he showed me some other photos of a part that he's missing. He's managed to get hold of one to copy, so he's talking to some pattern makers, and he said, "Oh, it'd be great if we had a drawing." And I said, "Well, I've already sent you one, but I'll send you another one." So I sent him a copy of one of the original drawings that we've got on file here, which uh, I didn't get personally, but I managed to get through the networking through Facebook. There's a group on Facebook called Heritage Steam Restorers, and it's there to help people like myself and others who are restoring steam engines, especially road steam. Um,
Yeah.
help out with different ideas or repair procedures that are already done, or even drawings. And there's one gentleman, excuse me, there's one gentleman in New South Wales who's helped me out tremendously with some drawings that I
Mm.
haven't been able to get from the UK, because a lot of the drawings are actually, or the original documents from John Fowler and Company are held at the Museum of English Rural Life, which is a part of the University of Reading. So
Mm.
it doesn't just hold stuff for the manufacturers of steam, but anything encompassing rural life in the United Kingdom. They've possibly got some sort of record, and it's quite fascinating.
They don't have like a they don't have like an instruction manual, or were you talking about different information that you wanted in
Yeah, well,
regards to it?
where is it? Hang on a minute, I'll be back. Sorry, go to Gil.
No worries. I'll quickly catch on up on the chat while I have been having a bit of a read. So yeah, I do agree that the Big Mac has a bit more flavour than the chicken Big Mac. I did like it last time, but as I said, maybe my taste changed, or it was the first time I had it, so it was like, oh, something a little bit new. But I will release the second time I reviewed it, but it's I will release that this week sometime. I do agree with Paul that the Big Mac with four patties tastes nice. Um, Mark's just looking at his stuff in the background there. Yeah, mate, local places I prefer. They seem to have, but we've discussed this on lives, even myself and Mark, that, the big fast food chains, obviously, they smash out so many burgers a day. Unfortunately, sometimes you'll get a good one or a bad one. The quality of the food at the local place normally is better than the fast food chains. Definitely agree with that for sure. 9 likes. Awesome. This stream got 9 likes, 11 now, Roger. Later all. All right, take care, Dave. Appreciate you being here and the support, man. And never had a big Mac as Cody. Give it a try. It's worth a try, but maybe see my review before you do it, just to decide. But now we can jump back into our conversation with Mark.
So back in the day,
Yeah, yeah, I
hopefully
can.
you can see that.
It's mirrored though, so it's backwards. But yeah, that's
Oh yeah, I'm trying to turn the mirroring off, and I don't know how I can do it.
it's in video settings.
Yeah.
It's video input, video
Oh, there
resolution,
it
and it
is.
has a little
There it
sort of
is. Here we
tab.
go. Here we go.
Yeah,
That's better. Thank you. So
no worries.
the
Man.
the
If you
light
want
in the planet.
if you want, if you want
Yeah.
to show
So
your book there,
righto. So
Fowler Road Making
yeah,
Machinery. Yes,
yeah. So it's
yeah, very
actually,
nice.
and they're quite proud. The manufacturers in Leeds was their manufacturing facility. So this is a
Yeah,
promotional book, and it'll give you things like that. Shows you a steamroller, right, and all the
that's a
opposite parts.
beautiful drawing. Those I like a lot
Yeah,
of those old manuals and stuff. Very lovely artwork
yeah.
and
Oh, it's absolutely incredible. So this is a reproduction of what John Fowler and Company would give out to their customers or their agents to try and sell their
yeah,
product.
right.
No different to what, say, Caterpillar, Komatsu, Hitachi, all of those machinery manufacturers today do the same thing.
Yeah,
So there's some great information in that for people like myself. And then there's this one here, uh,
nice.
John Fowler and Company of Leeds. That's it. So this is a parts catalogue, and it lists all the parts, and it shows you all the awards they got and all that sort of thing. And you could have
Yeah, right.
various wagons, um,
Mm.
depending on what style of work you're doing, to what style of engine, and You could
Mm.
basically have it in any arrangement, horsepower and speed and all those wonderful things back in the day. Um, but what this does is paints a picture for someone like myself who's restoring something like
Yeah,
the steamroller. It, some great technical information, and I do have another book. Actually, yeah. So I've got another PDF version, which is a parts catalog, and
yeah,
it's fantastic. It lists all the parts, the common parts, and tells you which ones are more prone to wear. And
yeah,
there's another book which I did buy a copy of it. I think I loaned it out to someone, and it's a combination. Once again, it's a reproduction, but it's a combination of three small booklets put together. But it gives you hints and tips on maintaining your own equipment, because back in the day, that's what you did. You operated this machinery, you maintained it yourself, unless it
yeah.
was really, really major boiler works or something like that. Then you'd take
Mm.
it to uh, back to the manufacturer or somebody else in some part of the country who could do the various boiler repairs. Mind you,
Yeah,
um, John Fowler and Company were very well renowned for making cultivating machinery and the longevity of these machines.
mm.
They've lasted a
Built
long
to
time.
last.
Well, my steamroller was built in 1926, so it's 95 years old already, and it's sat outside for 50 years. So the elements did take their toll, and so did the
Yeah,
thieves. The thieves borrowed a few bits and pieces off it over time, but
yeah,
it
right.
just goes to show you that um, this all this information's out there, and a lot of it still is, and that goes for any vehicle, classic car, motorbike, or whatever. There's
Mm.
still a lot of information out there.
Which is really great. I'm obviously not necessarily into it myself, as in, like go to museums really, or some of these get-togethers that you're a part of. But I do like that preserving like history is really good too. And and like you're saying, it's great that you can take these really old machines and you can bring them back to life. Where as n- as great as new technology is, it seems to sort of just like phones and stuff. Every year they're trying to bring out a new model or whatever, so it's always trying to improve it, just with these little bells and the whistles, like, oh, this one can do this one can heat up your bum in the seat, and it's a new feature that you can like that you need. But it's like, like some of that really old stuff, it has its own charm to it. It has I like that sort of steampunk aesthetic as well that a lot of old machinery has. It's a part of history, and it's great that people like yourself that are really enthusiastic about it and uh, do preserve history and keep it around. And it's great that you can work on stuff and bring it back to life.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing to have it in front of you and work on it, but it's another thing to have a book like this. You know, sorry, have a book like that,
Yeah, yeah,
which just gives that added detail. And like you say, the artwork in some of this stuff is absolutely tremendous.
yeah, yeah,
It's really
definitely.
is fascinating. It's like, why can't we? Well, we do. We have this
Mm.
technology today, but yeah, it's just something when you look up an old parts catalog or something like that. You know, um, I've got another one. Where is it? Hang on. So this one,
Well, I just got an update on YouTube. There's new timeout lengths, 10 seconds to 24 hours, just
cool.
for any mods if you need that. So if someone's been a bit naughty, you can put them in timeout for 10 seconds or 24 hours if you
Mm,
need. Yeah, go ahead though, Mark.
yeah, you're right. So this is another manual. You really can't see it because of the plastic, I think. Yeah. This is another English product, Gardner Diesel Engines. Now, you may have heard that name, and if you haven't, you certainly will recognise the sound of these engines. Now, these were in London buses. They were in
Yeah,
boats. They were in everything. Notorious, very slow running, very. And this is a to give you an idea, no, that's not going to do it. That's sort of general arrangement of a Gardner diesel engine. And what this catalogue tells you, or it's not a catalogue, this is like a parts book. If you had troubleshooting, how to maintain and clean your injectors, how to set things, timing, all that sort of stuff. And this is, another reproduction, but it's another great part of history and something handy to have that, because I have worked on these engines, nothing major, but just minor stuff, and this catalogue helped. This manual helped. So all the fun stuff of the fair, it's just it really is amazing what's out there in terms of history, and there's always the buried history or the sacred history, and the Vatican archives that you got to do a certain thing to go and have a look. It's like that sort of thing, and pat on the back of the head or whatever they do. But yeah, history, interesting. When I was a kid going through high school, I never. They tried to teach us ancient history, and it just didn't gel with me. It really didn't. I had over the top of my head. But then when you watch a show like Ancient Apocalypse, done by Graham Hancock, that really got my attention of how much we're just missing. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and it's like, are we missing that, or is it just like for whatever reason we're being held in withholding information, which to me just seems a little bit crazy. But I guess that's just the type of control that we have on this planet with
Yep.
certain people want to keep that knowledge and information within the elites or the rich people or whatever you want to call them and know them
Yeah.
as. So yeah, it's all a little bit crazy. There's definitely, we definitely get taught a little bit, but it's like a jigsaw puzzle, and there's a few pieces just to complete the image, but they for some reason you've lost them. Someone's thrown them out in the trash with the banana peels and the eggshells, and you can't find them anymore. So
Bit like
it
that.
kind of is what makes it interesting a little bit, though. Like you want to try to know, but you almost can't in a way. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just going to say it's a bit like that scene out of what's her name, 4th of July. Where the guy said the president, the old man, Jeff Goldblum's father. They're on Air Force One.
Independence Day.
That's it, Independence Day. Thank you. And he says, "Oh, we don't have any. There's no such thing as aliens and all that sort of stuff, And that's what they've been telling us for the last 80 years. And then the guy turns around. Well, actually, sir, yeah, there is. And that's actually happening in real life. The American government's been saying, "Oh my God, there's two of you." The American
Speaking of aliens,
for a long time that no, there's nothing to see here. Move along. It's just swamp gas. Well, they've now come out and say, well, yeah, there's actually things flying around that we don't know what they are, and it's not just former presidents saying that. It's direct retired directors of naval intelligence, people high up in the Pentagon, all that sort of stuff.
just to quickly move away from this for a second, I wonder if Paul, are you still here? So, the dog for some reason sleeping, but getting excited and wagging his tail down there. I was wondering why he was hitting it against the wall. Yeah, for anyone that was here before, I did say about the advert, the McCain's advert, and Paul shared the actual advert. And this little kid I went to school with, but it was an advert that a lot of Australians may remember. Might chuck it on, and we'll put it like that. And I'll play it for everyone Hopefully I don't get a copyright.
Well, yeah, that's the question. It might help if you go full screen, G.
Yep. So like that, yeah. Or not. There goes that one. Oh no. Is that, can we do full screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On this one, you'll see two
I have,
little arrows on the diagonal. So it should be over your left-hand side.
okay.
So you've clicked the button to bring it up on screen, and then go back over that little box, and there'll be two arrows on the
Like this.
diagonal. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark.
No worries.
Appreciate that. And we'll play this little video for everyone.
It's now our 10th week without rain. Doesn't look like the heat's going to let up just yet.
Marge! The rains are here!
McCain Super Juicy Corn Cobbets, specially grown to be super juicy. So juicy they're simply bursting with flavour. Ah, McCain, you've done it again.
Brilliant. But there you go. Oh no. Now I'm definitely going to get copyright. Yeah.
That was going to be one of my questions, actually. Did it outline what copyright was or means, or?
Yeah, I mean, that few seconds of music, I could get one, but also with these live streams, and doing them live, I'll probably keep them up for about a day. Then I'm going to move them to the other channel. So the backlog of lives will be on the backup channel, and really, I'm going to do them live so I can interact with people on Funkin' Hungry and they can comment and stuff. But if anyone's interested in watching them after they're kind of live, they'll be moved on to that channel where, if there is any issues when it comes to all of that stuff, hopefully it stays on that channel and doesn't move over to this one. But yeah, the little kid at the end who was eating the corn, and I don't think the corn was, splashing like a lady who was really enjoying herself. Like, I don't ever remember eating the corn and yeah, you really bit into it and just water shooting out. But yeah, the little boy I went to school with, and he was around my age, maybe a year or two younger than me. But yeah, I was mentioning it to everyone in the chat earlier, and Paul was kind enough to share the link. That yeah, that's a bit of a classic advert. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I sure
Mark?
do.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is a bit of a Spaceballs moment, You went to school with that kid, so it was like your father's mother's brother's second cousin, my roommate.
Yeah.
What does that make us?
What's that make us? Absolutely nothing. Exactly. No, you're not trading your corn right then. Oh yeah, AJ's going to have to teach us. He's going to have to teach us how to get squirty corn.
It oh my god. Have you ever run into
you off what you were saying?
Yeah.
ran into him as an adult.
Yeah.
No, like I didn't ever really interact with him, and he wasn't even really treated like a celebrity or nothing. I mean, he probably I'd say he only done that advert. They went through probably a casting process, and he just somehow was able to bite the corn and really get it. Maybe they should have hired him. It would have really got the corn going.
Well, when it comes
maybe
when it comes to these casting agents, that they're looking for a particular type, and
look and stuff. And,
yeah, and you do the one ad or two ads or something like that. Unless you're the in thing, they might sign you up for a few other ads, but most of the time it's you see them on one ad and they're gone, or maybe they go and do something. Maybe they're doing something else. It's just their lucky break, and that's the same from what I've when these actors come out from the US, for Comic-Con and Supernova, they all say the same thing. The guys, they go around, because they all do the same casting, or back in the day when they all do the same casting, that they all got to know each other, and you're here again, sort of thing, and it's funny, and then I got the part or something like that. It's funny how it works.
Yeah, and some of those people that don't really, for whatever reason, maybe they choose to, like in regards to that kid, he might have chose, he may be interested in, I don't know, cooking or cars, and that might be the direction in life he wanted to go. But also in regards to you saying people going to Comic-Con and stuff, some people, as I say, for whatever reason, maybe that's just they wanted to stick to the few roles. That's sometimes how they make money, doing those sign-ins, photos. Sometimes they do the panels, and that's how they make their money, traveling and just doing that. You do get some actors that you don't really see doing content or doing, entertaining, in films, movies, whatever anymore. But they, they do the Comic-Cons and stuff, and that's how they make their money. But also, then you get like the big people like Chris Hemsworth, who's probably got plenty of money, and you find him in, like, wasn't he in a Foxtel advert a few years ago, and all these different adverts, and it's like, someone else could probably do that, but I mean, he does a good job at what he does.
Yeah, and they do
well spoken and stuff.
Yeah, so these actors do talk about that. Some of these actors are just like you and me. They have families. The acting is their regular job, and I had some Coke before, and it's
it always happens. Like when I drink beer on stream, all of a sudden I'm gassy as swamp gas, isn't it?
Yeah, swamp gas. That's it. The swamp gas is coming back at me. I recently saw Katie Sackhoff. Now, you may know her name. For those of you who don't, she was in the remake of Battlestar Galactica. She was also in
Mandalorian.
She is now in Mandalorian. Yeah, and
she's a very lovely looking lady and does a good job, though. It's not just all about, eye candy. She does a very good job at what she does.
Yeah.
I remember she was in Big Bang Theory as well, right? As like one of Sheldon's dreams, or no, was it Leonard? And he dreamed about her, and then he started dreaming about who's that guy from Star Trek, the Asian fella? He's like, oh my.
Oh, George Takei.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So, Katie Sackhoff talked about, they're all talking about the writers' strike at the moment, which is interesting because one of the people that appeared on Star Trek Picard recently is one of the people who like one of the union reps and they said they've always, whenever they've gone on strike, it's always been about technology. And
right, because it's about AI now, isn't it?
Yeah. And one thing they were saying is that, you'll back in the before, we'll say BC, before COVID. We'll probably get something. You'll get something from YouTube now about that. You used to, your casting agents would be contacted by a studio and looking for X amount of people. You would go along and do a rehearsal or a pitch or whatever it is that the actors do in front of the director and the playwrights or whatever,
some of the
producers.
Stuff,
but now that's all changed. They'll give you what the actors are saying is that they give you 18 pages of copy, and they want you to learn that in 2 hours, record it, and send it to them. And as they say, as what some of these are saying, is that these days they might be, instead of being in person, the director or whoever may be looking at 300 different people who have sent in their
Yeah, so
casting.
if someone stumbles a little bit, or they're just gonna, for whatever reason, even if it's
Well,
even
eh,
if that person could be right for the role, they would just discard it because they have to go
yeah.
through so many.
Well, see, the other thing is you don't know who's looking at it. You don't know whether the intern's looking at it. You don't know whether the coffee person's looking at it. You don't even know if the director's looking at it. Whereas when you actually go in
Good old
person,
Janet from the cafeteria
yeah,
stirring the
no,
beans, and
yeah. When you went in person and read your lines to the director and the showrunner and that,
you had that
um,
connection a bit more with.
that's right. That's what they were saying. And so what they're saying now, in a maximum of 5 pages a copy and at least 48 hours to get it in, or something like that. Not some crazy. You get it on the Friday afternoon, and you got to read it and stay up all night, and then submit it. In the morning, sort of thing.
It always takes me 48 hours to get it in.
So, yeah, and I saw another interview. They had one of the Power Rangers come out here. I wish I would have spent more time listening to his presentation.
Okay.
This was a few years back. It was down the Gold Coast. I think he was, because the Gold Coast is only about an hour and 20.
Yeah.
It's not that far away from me. So they have, what's the name? They have Supernova in Brisbane. That's usually in November.
Yeah.
And they'll have Supernova on the Gold Coast. That's in March. So I'm pretty spoiled in terms of being able to go to.
That's awesome for you. You can decide if you want to go to both. You can decide if you
Yeah.
just want to go to hang out, or if there's a particular actor involved,
Yeah.
or entertainer, then you can. Yeah. Cheers for that, Paul. You saw the little bloke that I knew, or the little kid who's now an adult, obviously, because that's how time works, I guess. We get older as time goes on.
So,
Yeah,
they had one of the Power Rangers out there. I just forget which one it was, and he talked about how the studios, especially when you're new, these contracts are absolute crap. Like, it's almost it's probably worse than bloody slave labor almost. It's crazy. I was really, when this guy talked about it briefly, and I was really surprised. And talking to these other actors, most of them are not earning the big bucks like the Hemsworth or other people like that, because you only have a handful of those. And the really good ones can say, no, I'm not going to do a nude scene, or I only want red jelly beans or red M&Ms or something, take the brown out, all that crazy stuff. And then they'll say, oh yeah, well, I want $10 million and I'll just step up and do my thing, and that's it. It's being an actor is almost, you're virtually being exploited. And that's why these, if you remember back in the day, we all used to have autograph books, and you could ask the person for an autograph. These days it's a selfie, but if you go to a convention, like a lot of us do, Supernova, Comic-Con, whatever, the person is, signing autographs. That's $50. A photo is anywhere up to $200. I think Stan Lee was $200. I think William Shatner, when he was out here, he was $200. And even if you, and some of them are really strict on what you can do and what you can't do. Like when William Shatner was in Brisbane, I could see him in the distance. I was close, and there's a bunch of people lined up. And I went to pick up my camera and take a photo, and they're virtually, no, can't take a photo, So depending on the actor is how stringent. But as you were saying before, some of these actors are actually making more money going to these conventions than what they are out of acting. So
Yeah. I mean, it is a little bit crazy in a way. Obviously, as you said, it depends who they are. I know I remember James Master, who plays Spike in Buffy, and he was
Yep.
in various other stuff. I'm the type of person who doesn't really want to invade someone's space, but some people like him did allow, in between stuff when he was just sitting at his desk, some people was going up to him and taking selfies, and there was various other people, but then there are some people that didn't seem to want that. It's interesting as well, though. Jason Momoa, I remember, I'm not that into him. Like, I don't know. He gives me a bit of weird vibe personally, but each to their own. Before he was really doing Aquaman and stuff like that, his line was empty of people lining up to see him. So yeah, it's just crazy how time, he's probably a lot more popular now. He's been in Fast and Furious recently, and he's been Aquaman and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely some people allow that. But my point that I was going to make is really you would feel like the people that are part of these Comic Cons, they should really expect people to be taking photos and this, that, and the other. And if they're not really distracting the person, if they're distracting them to the point that they can't attend to the people that are paying for autographs and stuff, then I could understand someone saying, hey, you're disturbing this situation. But if you're just in a distance zooming in and you're like, oh, I've got a picture of him, they should really know that's going to happen. And paying the ticket price to get into some of these places should allow you to be able to film and all the rest of it. We've got a screen here to share.
Yep.
From Mark.
There you go. That's the man.
Oh yeah, I really like him because I was a pretty big Buffy fan, and for some reason, I'd go for some of the sort of anti sort of heroes. Like he was a bad guy, but then he kind of turned a little bit good, depending on who the big bad monster was around at the time. So I just really liked he had a very cool character. A lot of people like Angel, the other main vampire in it, but yeah, I tend to go for, I guess, a little bit more of the bad guy sometimes.
He was really good on stage too, and
yeah.
Some of them. I'll give you an example. Peter Mayhew, he played Chewbacca originally. Yeah, and when they had him out here in Brisbane. Admittedly, he was in a wheelchair, and he wasn't very because of his height. People who are tall do have problems later in life. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought you meant like he was in a wheelchair, so people had to duck down to.
No. He's in a wheelchair because he was.
What's he like? 7 foot something?
Yeah, something crazy. And when he was on the stage, we asked various questions, and all these questions he's had for probably a million times over. And that's the other thing. When we see him, we go, oh, I'll ask this question, but he's heard it a million times over, or they've heard it a million times over. And he got to a stage, obviously maybe he was starting to get a bit tired or whatever the situation was. And he said, oh, is the time up? And the presenter said, not quite. We've still got a few minutes yet, and managed to keep it going, which was really good. I mean, look, great to see him. But of course, we all see these people in their prime, and it's difficult to see them when they're not, But
he might wanted to go. Was he in pain and stuff? Like a little bit of pain from being, people like that might have been. Some people. I mean, he plays Chewbacca. I know he did other sort of monster type characters. So some of them don't really like, they're not very vocal when it comes to their acting. Some actors are more about movement and stuff, and that's kind of the art or the training they have. But he does a awesome job, or he did an awesome job with Chewie, good old Chewie.
Yeah.
And to answer Paul's question, I don't feel like I really do crushes because I don't know. But yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar is a very attractive woman, and she's a lot older now, and she's still very good looking. So I'm definitely Sarah Michelle Gellar. I find very attractive, but I've been into like Sarah Connor, Ripley. I don't look at, and that's what's funny now. They tried to push this agenda of our females. Yeah, when it comes to money, a lot of them wasn't getting paid right, and the rest of it we won't go too into it. But there's been some really strong female lead actresses in a lot of content films that I've enjoyed. And Ripley isn't really my cup of tea. Sigourney is an attractive person, but she's not really my sort of my preference, I guess. But I just watched her, and she's one of my favorite characters. I love Alien, the series, and they had other female fairly lead roles in that as well. They had Newt. She was the little girl that Ripley helps in. Is it the third one? Might have been the second. But, I think she might have been in the. Might have been the second, but they had the little cat as well. I love how they had the cat as one of the kind of. It wasn't a main character, but the cat was sort of going through the air vents and just going around. But yeah, and Sarah Connor. I did lean more towards Arnie's character, the Terminator, was kind of what I enjoyed. But Sarah Connor, was a very great part of that. There's lots of great female, but to go back to the question, Sarah Michelle Gellar, I just really love that Buffy character. Like, she did a cracking job with it, and she was the main character, and that's what it was about, a female sort of teenager who became a vampire slayer. So
did you ever watch Babylon 5 at all?
A little bit. I was pretty young at the time, so like the memories a little bit. I need to go back and watch some of that, but I was quite young, 5, but I loved sci-fi.
Yeah, Babylon 5 is absolute brilliant series, and it only went for 5 seasons. Written by J. Michael Straczynski, I think that's how. Okay. And he's pretty. He's not right up there in Hollywood, but he's been around for a long time. He's done a lot of stuff. Babylon 5 was his show. He wrote it, he directed it, and all that sort of stuff. And there's a couple of strong female characters in that. In fact, I really enjoy Babylon 5 because you could relate to it more. Basically, it was a space station, in the middle of nowhere, and it was supposed to be the center to bring everyone together. And of course, the usual situation, you've got your affluent and elite people, and you got your ambassadors and things like that. And then of course you got the dirty side of it. And it was just a really well thought out series, and it's disappointing that it didn't go further. And it just a good series done back in the early 2000s, something like that. The video quality's not good, or maybe it was the late 90s. I just forget.
So I don't know. I reckon I might have been maybe about sort of 14 around then, something like that. But let us know in the chat as well, any lead female characters in film or series, TV in general, or whatever that you enjoy. Another one did pop in my head. She is a main character, but also depending on the film, she is a bit of a side character just because they have so many characters. But good old Star Wars, Princess Leia is when she was Princess Leia in the first one, she was as people age, they don't lose what they look like. But as I said, it's not all about that. But Princess Leia, she was very attractive. Carrie Fisher, but also she was just again really done a really cracking job as the character, but also she was a very strong character. You know, sometimes they try to make out, or sometimes they use women as like a bit of a weak and like a character that needs to be saved and stuff. But I love how she just sort of gets the guns, and she, a certain situation, she takes over, and like she becomes like the hero, which is great.
Spaceballs.
But yeah.
That's that scene from Spaceballs. Where they're
Oh,
trying.
it's the hair, because it's a sort of like a sort of a parody of what happens to Princess Leia when she joins in, but she joins in because Han and Luke are like rescuing her as stormtroopers. Yeah, I forget what she said. I think it's you shot my hair.
Yeah, so she gets the gun and goes boom, 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 and all these.
Yeah,
Babylon 5 was released in February of 1993, so it's early on, and they did use CGI, but it was pretty damn good CGI at the time. Good storyline, bit slow to get going, but I tell you what, well worth it. Just some great storylines in there, great characters as well.
Yeah, so I remember watching it in England, so I would have been 10 or under sort of stuff. But AJ's asking, did you like X-Files, Mark? That has another really good, strong female lead. But I did. Well, Archer, sorry, I might sort of question a little bit, but I loved Fox Mulder. Like he is who I related to and who I felt, even though I was very young at the time. Again, this was around about the time of Babylon 5 as well. But he's the character I related to, and I felt that represented me a little bit more.
Yeah, well, the X-Files is why a lot of us are, I suppose, really interested in
the truth is out there.
Yeah, because there's is a little bit of truth behind some of those stories, and there's some little tidbits in there that I've seen that okay, obviously not at the time, but later now. And the guy who created it, Chris Carter, I think he's a former FBI agent or something like that. And, so, certainly enjoyed the X-Files. I haven't seen every episode. I should go back and watch it. But I've seen most of them. But,
it was incredible.
Actually, I can remember they brought Gillian Anderson out to Westfield, Indooroopilly, which is just west of the Brisbane CBD, and all the levels were just taken up with people, including myself. And she couldn't. She was overwhelmed. She couldn't believe that all these people came out to see her, and so when I look back, I've actually seen quite a few, good selection of television and movie stars throughout the time I've been going to Supernova and Comic-Con, and even before that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know certain music triggers different emotions or whatever, but for some, like I guess The Simpsons, for anyone that watches that's very iconic. But the X-Files tune, for some reason, like invokes like some sort of response to me. Just that little jingle it has is just brilliant, and it just is creepy, but it's also just has a certain sound to it. And just as a kid, when I used to hear that, it's like, it's time to watch X-Files. Like, it really sort of gets into your head, I feel. But Stylesy saying he watched a lot of Eliza Dushku. I believe she played Buffy's sister, correct? In Vampire Slayer, I believe she was the younger sister that became kind of the next Slayer. I know she was in a Kevin Smith film, I believe, as well, like Jane Silent Bob. She was one of the new guy as well. Yeah, I'm having a look now. Yeah, she was in Buffy. She was in True Lies. She was the new guy, which had DJ's Qualls. which is really funny from a lot of films. He was in like Road Trip, and yeah, she wasn't Jane Silent Bob. She was one of the diamond thieves in that. She's yeah, obviously a very lovely lady, but again, good at what she does and has been in some iconic stuff. Same here, Paul. I remember Eliza Dushku, good actress. She was pretty good in science fiction series Dollhouse. There you go. I had not very familiar with that one, but everyone has stuff they enjoy. Yeah, I haven't actually watched that.
Have you watched Resident Alien at all?
Oh, that has been on my list, but I've just been smashing out, and yeah, um, do like it, but Mick definitely because he was talking about it a bit. I've just been smashing out The Walking Dead, so I've gone from season 8, 9,
Mm.
almost I'm getting towards the end of 10, and once that happens, I've freed up my time to get into other content. But yeah, I know you recommended it, and it does sort of sound like it would be something interesting. And
Yeah.
hello there, and welcome, Paddy.
G'day, Paddy.
Thanks for joining in. Yeah, Alan Tudyk is his name, is it?
Yeah, Alan Tudyk. Yeah,
Tudyk, yeah.
yeah. Tudyk. He's been out here to Australia too, and
He's a very cool individual.
yeah. He was in that
Well,
sci-fi
I remember
series with Josh Whedon.
Firefly,
Firefly.
is it?
Yeah, he also did the voice for the Imperial robot in
In
Rogue
Rogue
One.
One.
Yeah,
I forget the bloody character's name, but I absolutely loved that character. It's funny how that's what I think is really good about Star Wars. Robots are really well presented and done in Star Wars. In a lot of sci-fi, they're a little bit boring, or they're just, but they have so much personality in Star Wars. Like obviously C-3PO, but
yeah.
yeah, him playing the robot in Rogue One. Also, they had the robot that
K2SO.
what was it?
Yeah, K2SO. K2SO.
Ah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's the one. He was probably my favorite character in that, but also I did like I think it's Sarah. It's the dudes. I have to get names right, but he's been in a lot of films. Forrest
yeah,
Whitaker, is it?
yeah,
Yeah, Forrest Whitaker. It all of a sudden Saw Gerrera. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
all of a sudden popped in my head just as I was looking it up. Forrest Whitaker was
yeah,
very awesome in that.
yeah.
Also, Donnie Yen. He's
Yes,
a martial
yes,
artist
yes.
who he was brilliant in that. He's a martial artist. He's been involved with like Bruce Lee. He had a fight with Bruce Lee. It might have been as well. Jet Li in a film. Him and Jet Li had this epic fight. But yeah, he's a really good martial artist, and
Yeah.
he was a force user in that, and he was
He
brilliant. Yeah,
he's the guy who was looking after him because he played the character of a blind man, and he's
yeah,
offsider, or I think right at the end they sort of painted it as they were a gay couple or something like that. I never understood why they did that, but they just played off each other so well, and it just helped make the film. You know,
who was that with that they sort of touched on being gay characters?
well, that's the way I took it. So Donnie Yen.
Yeah,
Hang on, let me go.
oh, that Kenrick was very good in it as well. That like the big bad guy with the white robes and stuff in that. He was very cool.
So let's see. Let's see.
Was it that Rook character?
Donnie Yen. Who was the guy? Who was his offsider? Let me find him.
Yeah. I haven't seen Rogue. It's actually a brilliant film. Yeah,
Haven't
I
you
love
seen-
how it connects with A New Hope.
Yeah, you not seen it yet?
Yeah, no, I've seen it. I just haven't seen it in quite a while. Like I
Yeah.
saw it in the cinema. I've seen it once or twice since it's been out, but yeah. Oh, I think I know who you meant. Is that sort of like he looks like a bit of a native, sort of American, indigenous sort of guy?
Yeah, yeah.
He
Um, let's
for
go
some
to
reason he's not in sort of the top main actors in the list,
no, no.
which is
Um,
strange because he's one of the main.
because um, yeah, it's all.
See, they had Jyn Erso and that, but I didn't really connect with her too much. She was like obviously another. She did a good, like she was a strong female role, but I don't know. I just didn't connect with her like I did with some other characters. But yeah, I can't.
That's where is it? That
Well, that's Baz Malbus. He's the guy that has big armor and like red
that's him.
and shoulder pads, and yeah,
Yeah.
he was brilliant.
But those
When
two,
Jiang,
yeah, they played off each other. They really suited. They helped make the cast of. I suppose you could probably call them the odd couple. How
yeah,
they bounce off each. He was the one that didn't
yeah,
believe in the Force, where Danny Cho's character did.
yeah.
So and yeah, it just really made the film, or helped make the film, I should say.
I don't know who he played in that, but I believe he's been in every single Star Wars since the third one. I like Warwick Davis,
Yes.
the little fella,
Yep.
he's got dwarfism or whatever. I know there's a
Yes.
lot of PC stuff involved with that these days, but I absolutely loved Wicket. And the guy that was in R2D2, he's actually inside the
Yep.
R2D2. He was meant to play Wicket, but he was sick, and Warwick Davis was just meant to be a background Ewok. But
Mm.
because all of a sudden he came down sick, he's sort of, I'll do it. And he was like, I don't know, like 11 or something years old, like a little kid at the time. And he's done Willow, which is a fantastic film if no one's seen that. I haven't actually watched a series of Willow yet.
Mm.
And he was the Leprechaun, he was in Harry Potter, but I absolutely love him. He's just a very cool guy. But then Wicket, I absolutely loved hit that Ewok. And they did Battle of Endor and I think Caravans of Courage or something. They did two standalone Ewok films, and I know a lot of people don't like Ewoks, a lot of people don't like Jar Jar Binks and stuff, but being a kid when I got into it, I just really loved the Ewoks. And in Battle of Endor, which is a standalone Star Wars film, even though they don't really include it these days, but he was Wicket, but he actually spoke in Return of the Jedi. Was it Return? But yeah, the third film in Star Wars, he actually didn't speak. He just spoke in Ewok sort of native language. But in the standalone Ewok movie, he actually had a lot of dialogue. But I really loved that character. Yeah, just Warwick Davis is very awesome. And yeah, welcome Becky. And IP Man is awesome. I haven't actually seen all of them though. That's a Donnie Yen movie.
The problem is, honestly, there's just too much out there. There's too many movies out there to watch. If you had to watch every movie, you'd be a blob of jelly on the couch and you wouldn't move.
Yeah, you're just a couch potato, yeah. Jet Li's another really good martial artist that I like in a lot of stuff. I'm trying to find the film. Oh, The One was excellent. If anyone's seen The One with Jet Li, it's kind of like a sci-fi film. He goes to different multiverses to kill to kill like basically if you kill yourself in different dimensions, you get their power. So he's very strong as is. But then when he starts killing off all of his other, variants or whatever you want to say, he becomes stronger. And it was Hero, I believe, that Donnie Yen. Yeah, it's Hero, which is just a really beautiful, well done. It's a sort of a Chinese movie. Has Jet Li in it, but it's just very well done. It's very sort of, it has some moments that are very brutal and very violent, but also it has that, how a lot of Asian kung fu films have that very sort of calm and sort of beautiful nature almost to them. But it has Jet Li and he fights Donnie Yen, and when they're fighting, it has like this person playing instruments of Chinese. I think it's like a little bowl, or it's more vibrations, but the vibrations create different music. And when when they fight, it has just it's very well done. A lot of Asian films have just this fighting, but it's just has a very sort of, I don't know, it's just really lovely to watch. It's not just punch, punch, punch. Like there's a lot of defending, and then they mix in the offense or the defensing, and a lot of times people aren't really making like a solid actual hit. They're just defending and all that stuff, but it's done very well, and that's a fight scene that I will always love. It's Jet Li and Donnie Yen, and they're both just incredible actors, but also incredible at martial arts. And House of Flying, yeah, Hero and House of Flying Daggers is brilliant. They're just visually, they just look stunning. But then, just the stories are well told, and then obviously fights in it are. But the fighting is very. I mean, anyone that watches Kung Fu understands sort of what I mean when it's just a different kind of different type of fighting. Caravan of Courage is great. The giant in that scared the crap out of me. Yeah, the main villain in Battle of Endor, he's sort of like this monkey sort of type ape creature. He used to scare me when I was a kid. He was the person who played him was very did an amazing job. He was very scary and evil to the poor little Ewoks.
Have you ever watched any of those spaghetti westerns or spaghetti kung fu movies where they do the dubbing and you hear the voice and then you see the lips move?
they finish speaking and the lips are just.
It's like
they had
I am going to fight you now, and there's a few seconds delay, and then they.
Kung Pao Enter the Fist was one where they added a white martial art character, but it was like dubbed over an old film, and they just done some such stupid stuff in it. One scene, anyone that's seen it, I'm sure would know. It's like, this little Chinese lady is like, chosen one. And she's like, she keeps on running it, but it keeps them dubbing it over on purse because it's a bit of a parody and a comedy as well. And it just keeps them dubbing it over that part. And it's like, I'm coming. And it just replays and just, I'm coming. Just like it takes the piss out of what you were saying, how sometimes the dubbing is just so cringy, but it's still good. But it's, that film sort of touches on that. Oh, it's so silly, but it's so good. Kung Pao Enter the Fist might need to be one that we might watch if we do a get together and we just put a film on and have a laugh in the background or something. But that's just a very silly film. Kung Pao is just pure brilliance.
I just found it on YouTube, and the thumbnail they're using is the guy, and I've had to look twice. It looks like he's got two skunks or two rodents or something like that. Which is
I think it was like chipmunks or something like that.
Yeah, and it's got the rag between it, and he's going like this.
He ends up fighting a cow in that as well. It's just so stupid. It's just it's like it's in a league of its own. It's just I haven't seen it for ages. I need to watch it again, but it might be something we might watch maybe together as a group sometime. I wonder how long that is. It says it's an hour 20 minutes, which is pretty good for a film these days. You don't want to be watching a film for 24 hours like sometimes these days. You have to take a day off what you're doing just to watch it. I'll go for Chucks. There you go. Cody's on it. I'll be up for that, G. So yeah, when we put Spaceballs in the list for Uncut with G hangouts, we'll watch Kung Pao. Maybe everyone's different. Some people might want a cup of tea, some people might want a beer or whatever. But we'll get together and we'll screen share some films and watch them and just it's we seem to all have a bit of a similar taste in certain aspects. But yeah, that's I remember just laughing so much at that film. It's just so stupid, but so well done as well. When I say stupid, it's not like just it's done brilliantly, but just will make you laugh a lot.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the dog's right behind me in the chair again, and I'm leaning back to get a bit more comfortable up here in the spaceship, as I do.
Yeah, Sol was quite just he was restless or whatever earlier. Now he's laying on his bed, he's all right. But
yeah, well, the last couple of days our girl's been a bit crook. She's been sick and just bringing up stuff, and we seem to think that it's got to do with what we're doing here at the moment, the renovations and that. A lot of dust around and stuff.
Oh yeah, some of the sort of dust and rubble that's been in the air a bit. Yeah,
we're trying to keep it to a minimum, but of course, nothing's perfect. That's for sure.
I believe that's a Simpsons restaurant reference that AJ's saying is crab juice. Is that what I'm thinking? Like, what do you have to wash this down? Crab juice, only crab juice. Like Homer. And then he like drinks loads of it, and then he needs to go to the toilet, but the toilet's like it's the huge sort of skyscraper, and he needs to go to the toilet, and you just hear him going up and getting up and up and up and up and up, and then you just hear him go when he finally gets to the toilet and releases himself. It's just that's when Simpsons was on point.
Is Simpsons still going? Are they still making new episodes?
It is. They're talking about. I've heard rumors about doing a second movie, but I just over the last few years, I've probably watched a couple of episodes of new seasons. But
have they? Yeah. Are they still got all the original voice actors, or have they changed them over the years?
No, a lot of them, like Dan Castellaneta, I know does Homer and a lot of characters. Majority of the big names still around, but I do know that they did this with Family Guy as well. How the world is going and the PC and all the cancel culture type stuff. I know the guy that did Apu's voice, I believe he was like Italian but yeah, he was from America. He did lots of different voices. I believe he'd done that Mexican bee guy. I forget his name, the one in the bee suit. But yeah, he did a lot of different voices, and now they've got a proper Indian guy doing Apu from the Quickie Mart. And I know Cleveland in Family Guy, it used to be Mike Henry is his name. He'd done a few characters. And again, they ended up getting rid of him and added a real black guy doing Cleveland. But a lot of the normal or the people that were there from the beginning are still around. But yeah just this whole, how dare you do a voice of an Indian or sort of a minority or whatever if you're not one. Which everyone will have their different opinion on it. I just find it a little bit silly if someone's done the voice for all those years.
Because Nancy Cartwright, who does Bart's voice, she also does quite a few others on the show. She's still going. She must be in her 70s now.
Yeah, like a lot of those main voice actors. Yeah, Simpsons would be going. Someone may know in the chat. They've got a good 30, maybe 5 or 6 seasons.
Mm.
You know, like it's got a huge amount of seasons, and those people have been doing it since the beginning. Who would you guys choose to voice you in a cartoon other than yourself?
Self. Oh. Oh. There's lots of great voice actors out there. If I mean, Mel Blanc would have to be my pick. Now, for those of you who don't know who Mel Blanc is, he's the original voice actor for the Looney Tunes characters, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, all those sorts. Yosemite Sam. I think Foghorn Leghorn. He did those. You know, the original ones before they went all silly. You know, Foghorn Leghorn's great. You know, I said
Brilliant, yeah.
why? Yeah, yeah, just
Why I say
yeah, yeah.
that
That,
Nancy Cartwright and Dan Castanella, who does Homer, are both 66. That's a little bit strange that they're both 66. I just
yeah,
thought.
right.
Uh,
Actually, there's
oh, John DiMaggio, who does Bender's voice, he does Marcus Phoenix in Gears of War. He does in Adventure Time. Is it Jay the dog? I don't watch Adventure Time much. I think my sister liked it when she was a bit younger. He does, but his voice though is very like gruffy. You know, like Bender's voice is kind of him, but pretending to be kind of drunk. You know, putting on that drunk sort of a little bit slurry voice. But I love
yeah,
him. But yeah, I wouldn't really probably say him to. What came to mind first was Chris Pratt because he bloody is in everything these days. He's Mario. He's in. He did. I know the main character in the Lego Movie. I haven't seen it, but my nephew likes it. And just
mm,
Chris Pratt is in. He's in a lot of stuff these days. Almost any franchise, I feel like Chris Pratt is doing Garfield's voice now. They've got a new movie of that coming out. So yeah, I don't
yeah,
know. I guess I'd say Chris Pratt just because I'm sure if he would really want to play my voice, I'm sure as soon as he finds that out that that's happening, he just put his hand up. But yeah, he's in plenty of stuff, so he always sounds the same, even though you can see you can hear he's trying to do a different voice. It's like when he done Mario for a while there, it sounded like he was trying, and then eventually just gave up and just sounded like himself.
it's when you look at
Suffering, Succotash.
Suffering Succotash, yeah, old Sylvester. I mean, when you look at what um, what some of these voice actors do, they really do a lot of voices. You know.
One of my favorite voice actors is he played this character Joker,
Oh yeah,
Mark Hamill, and I do like Conroy who did the Batman. He did it. They did it in the animated series. They did it in the Arkham game series. But I think Mark Hamill's done Joker for probably 25 years or more. And that's the kind of that's the Joker voice I kind of feel when I read the comics is that sort of where it goes sort of deep and high pitch. It sort of bounces off being sort of quite high pitch, and yeah, Luke Skywalker being quite low pitch, and then obviously he can have like a very evil laugh or just a very goofy, over the top laugh. So he bounces off that, and that's I guess making the character very unhinged and very unstable. How this personality of his can go kind of really angry or evil, and very
mm,
sort of happy and sort of jovial, but quite quickly, in like one sentence or one, in just as he's speaking a few words, which makes the character sound like he's quite unpredictable and that you don't really, which is what Joker the character's all about. Is some people are scared of him because of what he is, but then the clown and the happy side, people let down their guard because they think, oh, he seems like he's a happy sort of guy, and all of a sudden they do something quite brutal. So yeah, I love the character, but I feel like Mark Hamill does a great job at that voice. But yeah, AJ's had a couple of good questions. And who would you choose to play you in a live movie?
Oh. Mm.
Maybe I'll just go Mark Hamill again.
Yeah. I don't know.
Or Chris.
Bruce Boxleitner comes to mind. I think he's a pretty good actor. You know Bruce Boxleitner?
No, I don't.
Okay, so he was the guy. He appeared in the two Tron movies, the original and the remake. He was also Captain Sheridan in Babylon 5, Scarecrow and Mrs. King. That's a really old TV series. Well, old as in, you know. Bruce Boxleitner has also been in some more recent stuff as well.
Oh, damn. Yeah, the funny thing is, now I've looked him up, I can kind of picture him, but I didn't really get into the films and stuff.
Hmm.
And I don't have to take that as a compliment or insult, but Seth Rogen, for me, AJ says, but I can kind of see it in a way. But that laugh, that that Seth Rogen always does, just. But yeah, I guess we could probably put up with that laugh if he wanted to, be me. And what would he do? Just sit there and film eating food on camera? No, I do like Seth Rogen though. Seth Rogen. He used to write for the Ali G show before I researched once, but yeah, he does. He's involved with Paul the movie and Superbad, and he's done so many good. He's wrote and he's obviously acted, and it's funny that AJ says that because I said Chris Pratt and he played Mario in the Super Mario Bros. Film, and Seth Rogen played Donkey Kong or voiced Donkey Kong in the film.
Wasn't there a bit of controversy over that as well?
There was controversy over Chris Pratt being Mario because they wanted the real voice actor who's still alive to be Mario, the woohoo and like the hype. But people are saying that they don't know if they would have done a whole film, like if people would have enjoyed a whole film with him. But I feel like really they put Chris Pratt in there because he's what everyone's into at the moment. Everyone's into that. And he's done a few voices. And yeah, some people didn't like Seth Rogen for Donkey Kong because Seth Rogen they're saying they didn't change their voices enough. It just sounds like them as those characters.
Yeah.
I did actually watch that film and I did quite enjoy it. I enjoyed it way more than I expected. I thought, like it looked really stunning, but I thought, it just might be a bit of sort of, new age PC sort of just crap. But yeah, it's actually quite good. I like how they did what Mario is before he goes into the Koopa Kingdom. He's like a plumber. He's from Brooklyn, which they did touch on in different stuff over the years of Mario. He came from the real world into the Koopa Kingdom, and yeah, they touched on all of that. Scott Bakula for Mark.
Bakula. So Scott Bakula. Yeah, Quantum Leap. And also NCIS, New Orleans. What else has he been in? Star Trek Enterprise or just Enterprise. Yeah, he's a pretty big name in Hollywood. Not the real big, but he's fairly up there.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard Quantum Leap in ages. I remember watching that. I haven't heard that name or even thought about that forever.
They did a remake of it, and I watched a few episodes, but I just couldn't get into it,
Because didn't he go into other people's bodies and he lived that life? But sometimes you felt really sorry for him because he would get into situations where you're like, oh, this life would really suit him, and then he would sort of have to step away from that. That was,
Yeah.
I remember really enjoying that as a kid.
That was the 90s. And then there was his offsider was Dean Stockwell. He was the guy that, had the cigar in his hand and had, he'd pretend to type something. He'd say, oh, Ziggy says that, we've got a 85% chance of you leaping, and the whole idea was that he was trying to get back to where he started sort of from,
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that was actually pretty incredible. I remember that. Yeah.
And Dean Stockwell,
very well done.
he's been in a bunch of stuff. He was, he was in. Dean Stockwell was in the remake of Battlestar Galactica. He's just, a bunch of stuff, and he always had a cigar in his hand all the time. Just one of the. He must have done it. Must have been one of those guys that always smoked, and his choice was a cigar.
I think AJ's made some fairly good calls, like like that. Yeah, I guess sometimes it's hard for you to work out who you would, who you sort of feel like would suit the role.
Yeah.
Sometimes someone else telling you, sort of looking in with some good ideas for sure. Blue Velvet. Is that another series or whatever that he was in?
Blue Velvet. Doesn't ring a bell for me. Can you explain a bit more, please, AJ?
Sounds a bit like Turkish Delight, like a blue version. Blue Velvet.
Yeah, Turkish Delight. That's what we need. Actually, there's some Tim Tams in the fridge. I'm going to go grab a Tim Tam or two.
Yeah, nice one.
Don't forget, I'm always listening.
Very well done. Blue Velvet. So from what I'm seeing, it's a mystery thriller, Blue Velvet. It's got Dennis Hopper, Isabella Rossellini, Kyle MacLachlan, sorry. Oh, Dean Stockwell, there you go. Very well done there, AJ. So yeah, I'm looking here, but AJ's. Oh, Brad Dourif, or is it Dourif? I love that actor. He's in that. If anyone doesn't know him, he does. Speaking of voice actors, but also he's like a Mark Hamill. He does voice acting and acting, but he does the voice of good old Chucky, the doll, the good guy doll. And what was he in? I watched Critters recently. I loved Critters as a kid and watched them recently. Oh, it says he's in The Exorcist, the third one. He's in Lord of the Rings. Yeah, he's bloody amazing. Alien Resurrection, Halloween, the Rob Zombie Halloween's Critters 4, which I saw recently. He was he played a bit of a different role in that one because a lot of times he plays, well, not always, but tends to play the little bit, psycho sort of. I guess typically a lot of people look at him as Chucky, but yeah, he's in that Blue Velvet film that AJ just mentioned. But I will quickly, Cuckoo's Nest. I will quickly put this on screen, and yeah, it's a David Lynch film. Dean Stockwell played a character with Isabella Rossellini, Kyle MacLachlan, and Dennis Hopper. I didn't see Dennis, but yeah, there's a lot of. Oh yeah, I said Dennis Hopper, right? When I first, I think he was probably the first one I said. Yeah, Dennis Hopper is another really cool actor, been in some really good stuff. Yeah, so Dennis Hopper, it's funny how a lot of the conversations we're having, they tie in with each other. Dennis Hopper was in the Super Mario Brothers movie, the live action, and he was Bowser, the turtle slash dinosaur creature. And we had Bob Hoskins as Mario. We had John Leguizamo as Luigi Mario. And speaking of what? What the hell? So I was going to say, speaking of with people saying like crushes or attractive women, we had Car- Carlene or Moore as I believe Princess Peach, but for some reason in Google it calls her prostitute. I think that's what she was. Oh no, Princess Daisy. What? They had Princess Daisy. I thought it was Peach. Daisy's Daisy's the character that Luigi is into in the Mario Brothers. Yeah, Dennis Hopper's been in Waterworld, Apocalypse Now, Easy Rider, Speed, True Romance, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, number 2. Yeah, he was the Lieutenant Lefty in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I saw them recently. But yeah, it's very interesting to look into actors and see how sometimes one person might like one film that someone's in, and some people might remember them as a different role. There's only one true actor to play Mario and Luigi for AJ. Who's that? Uh, I think I know that. It's a bit of an inside joke. But yeah, no, they do a terrible job at it, but they just remind me of them.
I think Michael Ironside plays some good roles because he was one of the bad guys in the original Total Recall movie. He was also like a drill sergeant or whatever in Starship Troopers. That was a good one.
Starship Troopers is an amazing movie.
You get to see boobies.
Yeah, well, when you're sitting there just seeing some people just spraying some bugs, just spraying some lead into bugs is exciting enough, and then you see, pair of melons, juicy juicy melons. All of a sudden, it tantalizes your taste buds a little bit,
Yeah, and of course, that was I think I don't know. To me, it was when Neil Patrick Harris was he was famous, he was known, but I think I don't think that's after he did Doogie Howser MD, but of course that was
he does a great job at what he does. I know AJ may know this one more than some people, but Harold and Kumar has Neil Patrick Harris. But what Neil Patrick Harris is doing, he's playing himself, but he's playing like a really ridiculous version of himself where he snorts coke and goes to prostitutes and he's just all over the place. And he's like, yeah, they're like, oh, you Neil Patrick Harris, and he's just drunk driving. He's sniffing coke and he does that. He's hilarious in that film. Harold and Kumar.
It's
I've heard they're meant to be doing a fourth Harold and Kumar because is it 4 movies they've done? Harold and Kumar go to White Castle. Yeah, Harold and Kumar is it the Guantanamo Bay one? I don't know. I'd have to. And then they did a Christmas one. Yeah, Harold and Kumar go to Guantanamo Bay. They have the cock meat sandwich in that film, which is just ridiculous. And then they did a third one, which was like a Christmas film.
Well, Die Hard's a Christmas film.
Yeah, it's funny. It's coming up to Christmas. Might have to crank out Harold and Kumar.
I'll have to watch that. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, Harold and Kumar. It's basically an Indian fella and an Asian fella. They're mates, and they get high, and they say to each other, "Oh, you know what? I really feel like they both want White Castle, which is a restaurant fast food chain in America."
Yeah.
And they so they go on this like adventure to get White Castle, but all this stupid stuff happens as they're trying to just go there. It's a bit of a journey because they sort of say, "Oh, it's going to take a little bit of time to get there," but they're both up for it. And yeah, just the most crazy stuff happens into it. And then yeah, the second they go to jail, and the third one, they kind of have more families, but they have it's a Christmas film, and they're all pretty funny. They're all pretty great.
What else? I mean,
You would probably know. You'd probably know. John Cho is in the new Star Trek, the 2009 one, the Asian fella.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he's Harold in Harold and Kumar.
Oh, righto. Yeah, sometimes it's
They
one of
play
those.
quite serious roles, funny enough, in other stuff.
It's funny how sometimes you'll watch a TV show or a movie, and you'll see these people, these actors, come up sort of time and time again, and you go, "Oh, hang on, he was in so and so," and yeah. But as like anyone, an actor, they're putting their name out. They're going for casting interviews and or casting sessions. They're going to get roles on whatever show they can.
So Carl Penn, who plays Kumar,
Yes.
he's in I think House. You possibly may know him in. He's in a lot of stuff though, but yeah, he normally plays quite serious roles. But in Harold and Kumar, basically it's like a Cheech and Chong film. Like it's that sort of film where there's two main characters and they're just a little bit opposite. One's, like Harold is a little bit more serious, and Kumar just wants to have fun more so and doesn't take life so seriously. They bounce off each other. Like you were saying about the actors in Rogue One, they're just a perfect match. It's kind of like that yin yang situation where they both do such a great job at it. And yeah, you watch that film, and you know how when people do good at acting, you kind of almost feel like that's them, and then you see them in other stuff, and it's just totally different. They're not like that at all. Yeah, they do a great job at being, for some reason, a couple of stoners. Yeah, I heard there's a new one of that coming out soon or being made. So another set of guys. Yeah, go on, Mark.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to. The first time I saw Carl Penn was in a series called Designated Survivor, and that was the lead role was played by Keith Sutherland, and that's where he was chosen to be the president of the United States after a catastrophic event took place, as in when they get the US Congress together or the House or whatever it was, and there was an explosion, and so two representatives are chosen at random or something like that, and these are people who play, they're minor politicians. They might be on some sort of environmental committee or something like that, and this guy was thrust into the role of the president after this major disaster. And I really got into that series. I really enjoyed it, and it came out in 2016. And then they did a few seasons, and that was it. It never, for me, they never finished it off. It was real disappointing, but that happens to a lot of TV series, unfortunately.
Lose funding and stuff like that.
Yeah.
What I was, sorry, continue.
Yes, sorry, I should have. It sort of opened my eyes to American politics and the way way things play out. Obviously, there are some things that probably weren't true, though they were made up. But it was. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I got right in. I didn't go right into it and find out the background of the characters or anything like that. But I suppose it had a lot of real life scenarios in it that just got my attention and really enjoyable. And I'm just disappointed that it didn't go any further. But anyway.
Yeah, the set of guys, we was touching on, I guess, a little bit of comedy when it's Harold and Kumar and stuff like that. A group of people that are known as Broken Lizards do some incredible films. I'd say the first films that it was about 2001, I got into was Super Troopers. They play like highway cops, and the highway cops sort of have this sort of feud with the normal cops. They sort of say, when it's in the highway, that's our jurisdiction and stuff like, but they have this feud with each other. They did, I believe, 2 Super Troopers. They did Beer Fest, and when I really got into them, I went back and saw Club Dread, which is like it's like people start dying on an island, and you have to try and work out who it is. But I'm looking now, Quasi. It's a film about in medieval times. I saw that one is a little bit more recent, but I'm looking now, and they've done 8 the Baby Makers in 2012, the Slamming Salmon in 2009, Puddle Cruiser, Club Dread was 2004. It feels like that was a little bit older, but it's supposedly there. But Broken Lizard are basically they're all the writers and actors of the films, and they always sometimes one actor is the really weird over the top guy, where in another film that they do he's like the more serious guy. So they almost take it in turns to be a little bit of the annoying prick of a character. But yeah, Super Troopers is definitely my favorite from them. But Beer Fest is really good as well. But yeah, Broken Lizard as a collective are very funny and do some. I'm going to have to go back and try and watch some of these other films that I haven't seen of them. I'm actually a little bit shocked that there's a couple that I haven't seen. But yeah, Super Troopers is a brilliant film. When it comes to comedy, I guess it depends on your sort of, like what people's humor is. But I can watch Super Trooper just all the time, maybe not every day, but every time I just watch it, I still get the same almost laugh and reaction that I did the first time. It's such a quotable film, and it's quite a good story as well, but the characters are just over the top and crazy.
I suppose a bit like Spaceballs and, Blazing Saddles and that sort of thing, similar sort of qualities. But like you say, it comes back to what's your humour is,
Yeah, definitely. But just there's so much stupid stuff in I remember there's one character and he kept on getting banned. He got banned because he fought kids on the school bus. They all like jump on him and stuff. And because he's a cop, he tried to be all rude to them and ended up like bashing him. But so he got put on. Oh, I forget the term, but basically he was put on radio. He wasn't allowed to go in the actual cruiser and go out. But when he finally does, he acts like a complete idiot and he goes into like a equivalent of like a McDonald's and he's like, "Oh, I'll have a liter of cola." And he's like, "Oh," he's in, and the guy's like, "Liter of cola? Do we sell liter of cola?" And he's like, and the other dude's just like, "Just order a large, father." And he's like, "A liter? No, I want a liter of cola. I want a goddamn liter of cola." And then, then he's like, and then he grabs him and he's like, "French is leader." For and starts swearing at him and says, "I'll kick your ass" and all this stuff. And he's like, "Oh, okay, sorry, officer." And then he like points to his badge, he's like, "Father," and he like gets annoyed. And when he finally sits down, he's like, "Oh man, it's so good to be a cop again." And then it was when like Macca's do the Monopoly promotions, how you peel off the little stickers, and he's like, "Oh, I feel really lucky. I'm gonna get a car, and I'll outrun." He's saying it to the other cop, and he's like, I'll still beat you." And he's like, "No, because I'll put wings on it and fly away." And when he pulls down the little sticker, the guy's made a hole in it, so the drink starts going over the cop, and he just gets angry and runs and tackles the little dude he's working at the Macca's type place, and just next second he's arrested for, even though he's a cop, he's arrested by the actual real police instead of the highway police. But yeah, it's such a good film. There's so like it's almost every scene is just brilliant, and the dialogue is just perfect and stuff. But yeah, anyone who's watching who hasn't seen that, go and see Super Troopers. It's bloody fantastic.
Was there another one similar to that called Super Trooper, but back in the like 80s or something like that?
Oh, there could have been like a, like almost a remake in a way, but
So Super Troopers is 2002. Yeah, no, I thought I could remember. I do sort of remember seeing.
they're saying in April this year that the third Super Troopers is being made. Will be their next film, but yeah, they do have a bit of a gap in between films. I guess spending some of that money and living life, and all of a sudden they need to pay some bills, so they make another film. But yeah, they're just a great comedic sort of group of individuals that are known as Broken Lizard, and they normally write the stuff together and they do the main characters. Yeah, I have seen the second one. It's not quite as good as the first, sorry. But yeah, it's I still enjoyed it. It doesn't have as much replay value. Like I could watch the first one almost any time really and just get a laugh out of it. But second one's okay, but like a lot of second films, sometimes they can never measure up to the first. But still, it's the same characters at the end of the day, so there's definitely some laughs in it.
Yeah, I was just watching Super Troopers 2. The fake French cops stop a car, and
yeah, because they go to like Canada in that one, so it's got the Canadian police, but they like obviously move. They sort of diss the Canadians for some stereotypical stuff that Canadians do. There's a little bit of stereotype in there.
Yeah.
And there's a little bit of a feud between the Americans and the Canadians and that and stuff like that.
Oh boy. Oh yeah, there's some good and funny stuff out there. It's just a matter of sitting down and watching it.
But that's sometimes what I enjoy about these talks. Like the people in the chat, myself, and we'll throw out these films and ideas, and we do. When it comes to a lot of stuff, do have a bit of a similar taste, and some stuff we enjoy. So, I feel like every time we do these streams when we get into movies, we give each other a bit of a backlog of stuff that we should check out. Because when you were saying about Babylon, I was going to say Stargate. Do you remember Stargate?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that,
I really enjoy
mm,
Stargate. I've seen the original Stargate movie, quite a few times. I won't say I've seen every episode of SG One,
yeah,
but I've seen most of them. Pretty well, most of them. I've seen some of Stargate Atlantis. Stargate Universe started getting it was good, but it started out real slow, but it was getting better. And it had some good characters in it. It had a good storyline, but they end up canning it. And I just, well, I suppose MacGyver made SG1, really likable because
mm,
Richard Dean Anderson, we should say, not MacGyver, because I think he brought over some of that, character of MacGyver into SG1.
yeah,
It just, uh, yeah, just look. There's probably a lot of stuff in there that's not accurate, but it made it. That's the thing. When they make a show like this, they put elements in there which do make it almost plausible, and of course, with our amnesia in history, we really don't know. So did was there spacecraft that landed on the pyramids? We really don't know.
mm,
Um, but it certainly made it believable. That's for sure.
he's mentioning Simpsons again there. 'Cause they Patty and Selma and Simpsons, they love watching MacGyver. Isn't that the? I think that's the reference he's making. They really love the character, and they say like that's what they're going to do that evening. That's what they're going to watch MacGyver or whatever.
Patty and Selma were Marge's twin sisters or something, weren't they? What's the gap?
Yeah, yeah. They were her older sisters, but yeah, they're twins. Where Marge was the younger
Mm,
sister that they used to pick on and stuff, and even when they're older, they just pick on her and Homer and say how they can't understand why she's with him, but they've got worse lives, like
yeah,
they're just a couple of gossipers, and
yeah.
just
They
like to
never
sort of pick
married,
on
and
her, and
they never married.
yeah,
Weren't they always
still live
smoking
to
and drinking?
always like. Sometimes you see them put down a cigarette and they'll pull out like another cigarette. Yeah, they
Yeah,
drink, but not when they're working and stuff. They're not quite that bad, but yeah, definitely the type that will always sit there, smoke, watch TV, have jub jubs. Yeah, one of them had a green iguana. She she tries to marry, and when it fails, she's like, "Oh, it's just me and you, jub jub," and she starts singing to him, "You're my." Oh, just yeah, that was when Simpsons. These days, it seems a little bit more like they tried to do. I don't know, like it's a little bit too serious and a little bit too like they try to make it a little bit too real. But I guess some people still love it.
yeah.
But yeah, I was going to say to you as well, Mark. You mentioned Picard. I was meant to get into that. Do you reckon that's worth a watch?
Um, oh, yes and no. Yes,
Okay,
just to keep up with the characters. I think the last season was probably the best because it
okay,
changed so much from when it started out. Um, like really changed, noticeable changes. Um, if
yeah,
if you got nothing better to do or watch, go watch it, and just that way you're keeping up with what's going on in the Star Trek universe. Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I I wouldn't run out there and watch it, I suppose. But yeah, if you've got nothing else to do and you want to keep up what's going on in the Star Trek universe, or
Yeah, I just really like Patrick Stewart.
yeah, yeah, I would, but just be prepared that what you start out with is totally different to what you ended with. So,
Yeah,
and I don't think they're going to do any more, which is a shame. But Patrick Stewart is in his 80s or something like that, and it,
yeah,
sort of, and at the end there, or in one of the episodes, they virtually have the old cast of the main characters back together on the Enterprise, and that was really good to see.
yeah. Which they
Was,
failed to do with Star Wars for some reason. They had all access to all the
yeah,
main, like Princess Leia, Luke, and Han,
yeah,
but they for some reason spread them out, which made an okay story, but they never had that iconic moment when they're all back together, which is just
yeah,
ridiculous.
and that's
It's
one of the
now
one of the
Carrie Fisher's not around no more, so
yeah, one of the people I watch who does he's a YouTuber actually, Nerdrotic. Um,
yeah,
he actually made a comment that Star Trek Picard had what or got what Star Wars didn't, and that was that reunion of all the main characters. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah, so,
Yeah, it's a little bit ridiculous how, but yeah, I mean, each to their own. I did enjoy the new Star Wars films to a certain extent, but also, yeah, like I just feel if George Lucas didn't sell it, he would have had a totally different vision. It was funny when Disney got a hold of it, and obviously it's not just Disney. Disney's a company. The people that were in charge of the movies there was like, oh, we don't have any sort of stuff to go on, but they had plenty of books, like novels and comics and
yeah.
video games where they have worked on those characters to flesh them out more. So they
Mm,
have plenty of direction. Where yeah, in the novels and the comics, the children of like Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and Leia, they was very different than they are in the
yeah,
films. Like Luke Skywalker had offspring and stuff like that. So yeah,
and this is where it comes back to that, the message that's been pushed.
mm,
And if you've watched any of the sort of promotional stuff, Kathleen Kennedy coming out on stage and going, oh, the force is female, sort of thing. You know, you and I have both said it, but I'll say it again. We're not against, strong female characters, but it seems like a lot of that stuff is getting pushed. The agenda, so to speak, is getting pushed, and it's just
but
too much.
but to be honest, I would have preferred to see we when we stopped off. It showed that Princess Leia had obviously she was able to use the Force. She was able to find out where Luke was located through sort of entering his mind and sort of knowing the location. I would have loved for them to flesh out her more and show her training.
Mm,
Ray, I did like Ray in the first film, but I feel like as time went on, I don't know if the actress was a bit stressed. She seemed a little bit, like a little bit wooden towards the end. But yeah, I just would have preferred Princess Leia, like showing her doing sort of learning the Force and
mm,
her and becoming, masters or Jedi, and it would have been good to show Luke Skywalker actually training some of the like how it's touched on. He trained Ben Solo and obviously became Kylo Ren, but it would have been good to sort of show that a bit more in the film of Luke being a master and training instead of just some old guy drinking milk on a hill and being angry at life.
drinking the blue milk out of the booby. Oh, he's gone.
Yeah, I don't blame her for that one.
You just disappeared into the void. Did Darth Vader grab you? Did he? Yeah, AJ, you're absolutely right. That gold bikini that Princess Leia wore in front of Jabba the Hutt. Oh yeah, that certainly got some hearts racing. I'm sure it did. Anyway,
Just acting like a twat.
gee, I'm going to have to go.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry to bail out on you like this, but
No, I'll probably wrap it up as well.
well, you've hit that magic.
Here if you-
You've hit that
Yeah,
magic
I'll
3
take
hours.
the tip. I'll take the tip.
Good.
Yeah, I might wrap it up here if you just want to hang around for a
Yeah,
minute.
mate,
And
yeah.
I don't have any Blues Brothers to play. Sorry about that. If I was going to play an outro, it'd probably be more like Cheech and Chong. They done some classic songs in Cheech and Chong.
I'll
I
I'll
appreciate
have
that.
to look at some of their stuff.
Yeah, looking like Cheech and Chong, like songs, because they would in those movies they put in some of those movies they put them singing. Cheech used to sing. I think Chong was the drummer or guitarist. But we'll get out of here like the gold bikini and Jabba the Hutt being strangled by Princess Leia. But I have to quickly say I appreciate everyone. Paul for the super chat, AJ for the super chat, and Simon for becoming a member tonight. You're all legends. I didn't really, didn't expect it, but I'm very humbled and appreciate all the support. And Mark for being here. And yeah, so let's get out of here in our spaceships.
That's it. Thanks for having me, G. I do appreciate having our chats and being here on the screen with you and everyone in the chat.
And if you want to see what Mark does on his channel, down in Funkin' Hungry, if you go down into the other channels, I've got Mark saved in there, Mark Shed Talk. But I appreciate everyone in the chat. Much love, and we'll speak to you next time.
Good night, Australia.
I was just waiting for you. I was waiting
Yeah,
for it.
a bit out of my timing.